Greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, here to share a little time, a little stream. Excuse me. We'll open the stream up for the panel, those who wish to join. I'm feeling great. Sorry, I stumbled on my words there. Got distracted by a few different thoughts. What's up, Cynthia? God bless. And just Frank, I saw in the chat, and others, those who are joining now, maybe joining later. Blessings to you. Thank you. It's good to see everyone. And I am feeling pretty good. For those who maybe popped in early or saw for themselves, I found my way over and spent some time with Paul Unslaved and Flow State and a few others over on Proper Instruction Motivates People. And I was sitting there and had a lot of thoughts during that time. I had a good time, and you know what? It was the link. It was pinned to the top of the chat before the stream started, but I don't know. For those interested, it was an enjoyable afternoon. And oh yeah, our friend Rant showed up there as well. So I'm curious to see where this afternoon may bring. I mean, I did push the stream back, and I considered while I was over there with Paul, should I restream? You know, it's just a click of a button and it streams it over onto my channel as well. I remember doing that, and I know many of you are very dedicated and loyal to me, and I love that. But when it seems I'm restreaming the chat over here, kind of, since Paul's not able to mod it, it creates a distraction. So I chose not to go down that route. I did consider starting my own stream before I clicked the link to join his, but I thought, no, I'm just going to see what happens. Because for those who know me, you've got to know by now, a dear friend of ours on YouTube, another creator, Paul Unslaved. Regardless, he's been a part of my past, and admittedly, that's what I hope to do, emulating what he was doing, opening the panel up for viewers to join the conversation. And he mentioned that in the stream earlier today. I thought, you know what, I can do better. Not impersonating, mimicking, like learning from and hoping to improve in my own different way. And there's a lot of interesting characters I've met here online and in my real life. Some real life characters, man. People are weird sometimes. I found a way to love people. I do love people genuinely, authentically. So, which reminds me, for those interested, you are welcome to join the chat, join the conversations, or hopefully, you know, enjoy the conversations and the community that's kind of growing around here. Once I got off of Paul's stream and went to gather my thoughts, I kind of got lost. I got lost in my thoughts, enjoying the day, enjoying the dream, realizing that, yeah, the words I said earlier, they're true. Why not? Why not believe? Why not believe that this world was created for you to discover with others like you? But we're here to do whatever we want, whatever we can imagine, whatever we can believe ourselves doing. We can take steps towards that goal, that end. Hey, and that's a beautiful segue into the thumbnail, right? The quote on the thumbnail. This can be misunderstood, and I used to misunderstand words like this, okay? The universe doesn't give you what you ask for with your thoughts. It gives you what you demand with your actions, right? And it's real easy to get caught into the materialistic view of this, that only your physical actions are what the universe responds to, but that's only part of the story, right? So I've learned my way to peace within my heart. I learned my way to peace in my heart through my mind, my thoughts, right? Peace is what I demanded from the universe for myself. I demanded it from myself, maybe for the universe. See, there's a dual exchange. Anyway, it's our thoughts that can lead us to the efficient and effective actions, right? And yes, if we want success, success is going to demand our actions. But the actions we take, we want to be mindful of. We don't want to just run off half-cocked with an idea of something. And we don't want to be so fixated on an idea, on a previous plan, that we don't notice what the world is doing. So success does demand our actions, but if you're going to take actions, regulate yourself, be mindful, choose the actions that are the most efficient and the most effective towards your goal, towards your version of success. Because that's what life is about, man. Brothers and sisters, now we're into the topic of the video, growing in life, love, and peace. Those are the reasons we're here, right? It's easy to love when you're in a state of peace. It's a challenge when the world is chaotic. And if you believe the world is all just chaos and darkness and we're at war, how in the hell are you going to find peace? And if you can't find peace, how do you know love? Really? Because love, man, while love is powerful, love is so gentle. It's just, ooh, it's so comforting, so special. And we wouldn't know love, we wouldn't even know peace if we were not given life, right? So for those who want to deny a God or a creator, you're out of your mind, man. I mean, the fact of life, it is a miracle. Every baby born, it comes from like nothing, from like from like biological cycles, and splooge come a human vessel, and then a baby's born, right? It's like, holy shit. I partialized into a conversation earlier on the other stream between Rant and Paul, the question about, have you ever had children? You know, you haven't, and I don't know where the context of that conversation was at, but if you haven't had a child or something, I don't know what else that could be compared to. It changes you. It's amazing. God is so divine. I mean, how something external can just totally transform what is within us. Man, that's the power of God in action. The way our emotions work, the way our mind, our thoughts, and our emotions are connected, those things bringing forth the experience that we know. Holy shit, man. That is some divine shit. Well, excuse my language, man. Praise God. Praise God that we get to be who we are, right? Because who we've been in the past, it got us to where we are today. And when I'm saying we, I'm talking about the human race, the collective, and the individual. I mean, it's just the truth. I'm just speaking what is true. Who we were has become who we are, but who we are today, God only knows what we might be able to become. I've imagined a world of today, right? Not some distant, far off future, but I've imagined and envisioned, I have been envisioning, seeing, contemplating what it could be like in this world with conscious human beings who weren't asleep at the wheel, right? Just floating along. It's American dream. I'm gonna throw a vote out. I'm gonna pretend I got some freedom. What? Holy shit! If people were awake to what is really, really happening, the world would not be what is going on, right? The first thought is, you describing me? Am I like my passion and my observation? Am I come across like half melted vanilla pudding with no topping, kind of blandless, talking about the way the world is? I am so high on life, absolutely high on life. The cannabis has certainly added to it in a little way. To what degree, I don't know. That's an interesting question, but my spirits are, let me get to the point, the world of conscious human beings, right, who are fully aware of the present moment. It's as simple as that. Waking up to the reality of being. That is what the Buddhas and the Christed way is all about. You don't know who you are if you're always lying. You don't, you, most of our memories, I've seen patterns of people lying about things that, I've seen people making big deals out of very insignificant things, things such as memories or opinions. Memories and opinions are pretty damn insignificant compared to what is real and true about today. And all of the past memories and opinions have created the world into what it is today. And if you're like me, alive today and conscious and aware, then you're aware that the media has been lying, that there's corruption in our governments. We've got active wars going on in this world right now. Thousands and thousands of people are facing, millions of people are facing food scarcity today, right now. Millions and millions of people are also kept in cages like out of control animals. We've got a world that profits from war, immorality, and fears, temptations and greed, selfishness that has literally kept everyone apart, driven everyone apart. Selfishness and greed has driven humanity apart. We've created this world where people believe we can't get along unless we've got police and military and all this courts and all this crap for enforcement and punishment. The reason we live in a world with all this enforcement and oppression, and there is oppression when there's censorship, well, when citizens are not speaking, not held accountable to themselves, you create an environment. Well, our freedom and our morality are connected. The less people hold themselves accountable, the less we hold each other accountable for what is said, the more lies are spread, right? The more misinformation is out there. And it doesn't take a lot to twist the truth around, right? To make things seem like they are not. There's a lot of people today who don't believe they are free, and they create within themselves all these reasons why they are not. And when you don't feel free, you feel oppressed. And when you feel oppressed, well, then you feel the victim, and it's really easy for victims to take the truth and twist things around and become the oppressors. That's what we have in government. That's what we have in the top-down management styles of our corporations. It's a bunch of imagined nonsense, this illusion of authority. Okay, the illusion of authority that people are willing to literally die for, it's not real. People aren't only willing to die for authority, they're willing to murder for authority. It's not real. If you're awake and conscious with me today, brothers and sisters, okay, if you're aware of this like me, I don't know what to do. I do know what to do. I do know that it is the truth, sharing the truth freely. Okay, but I allowed myself to get distracted. Because there's a lack of accountability in who's telling lies, right? Number one, we've allowed our standards to drop so far collectively that it's pretty common knowledge that the news media, the corporate news media that profits from the advertiser dollars, and the advertiser dollars, what is advertising really about? Mind manipulation, right? So it's all right there in front of our faces. The pursuit of greed and selfishness, the pursuit of imagined money is not real. Money has been taken out of context, and people are willing to die and do very immoral things for money. When it's done according to someone else's rules, then it's legal, right? And so we've got our corporations literally invading other nations, American corporations, right? Where American citizens, people who live in this land, like you and me, they're profiting from the invasion of other people, their homeland, to extort the resources out from underneath them. In my mind, I'm picturing like several oil companies that are like doing the shit right now actively. At the same time, we've got the Israel-Palestine nonsense going on, the Russia-Ukraine nonsense going on, all of this real life game of risk Battleship Earth, all of this is being played out all around. And I know it's been like that since we were born. And I know it's hard to believe a world that could be different, but it is. A different world is available right now, today, when we all choose. It requires effort, right? Consciousness, intentions. It requires those things, the courage to make peace, to create peace, especially when you see conflicts like active conflicts, right? It takes courage to stand up and say, knock it off. That's enough. There's a solution. There's an underlying condition that has created humanity fighting from each other. And here's my theory. It's an absence of God from our minds, from our hearts. And what is God? God is. God. God is. Simple as that. That which is. That which is, okay, reveals to us, through us, what is real. Can you feel your breath right now? Your breath is real. And it feels good. It feels good to be alive, to be one with all that is. Knowing the corruption of the world, knowing all the memories and opinions of my past, and to still be able to sit here feeling good. That, my friends, is by the gift of God, by the grace of God. I've chosen to try and know rather than just be ignorant of what is real about God. It led me to try and wonder what is real about this world. And I tell you what, holy shit. The things I've learned has blown my mind several different ways. Things are not as they seem. If you can accept that, that reminds me of my thoughts. I drifted away again. If you can accept that truth, things are not as always as they seem. Trust yourself to know things can be different. Sometimes it takes a shift within, sometimes it takes a change without, but I tell you what, it starts everything. It's all within. So when in between streams, one of the thoughts that occurred to me was observations I wanted to share with you, whoever you are. But then it comes down to questions for you, because I don't know who you are, and I'm offering what you didn't ask for, apparently. But did you? Can you trust the words of a stranger, someone you don't actually know, someone you're not intimately involved with? Can you trust the opinion of someone you don't know? The reason I ask is I know how easy it is for us. Someone we love says something to us. Even if it's true, man, it can be crushing. The truth delivered from someone you really care about, really admire. If it's not in line with what you already think, it can hurt. Like physically, emotionally. I mean, it just like a knife deep inside you. just from words. Okay, but so now back to the other side. So most people, right, especially dependent upon relationship, will receive these ideas, especially if it's repeated from others. But if you can accept the words from the stranger, if you know they're true, if you can find within you the truth of the words, can you accept the words of a stranger? Well, here's my point. I want to tell you, you are so magnificent. I can't say that more honestly. The fact that you are today, right now, if you're anything, anything like the people I've met, the people I know, people like me, man, you are something special. You, and I don't need to see your face to know it. I can say this so confidently. The truth is what's moving me. Okay. If you see my emotions, they're honest. It's true. It's my truth coming through me. All truth, moment by moment. It's by the grace of God. It's by the grace of God we hear, learn anything. And if we humble ourselves to that truth, by the grace of God, you can know my words for you are true, that you are so loved. Hey, I'm a humble man who gives myself to God and the love that God brings forth. And here's another lady who shines brightly, brightly, just like me, similar to me.
I came up to give
Welcome,
you
Cynthia.
a virtual hug because you
Thank you.
need one. I love you, Jack. I'm gonna calm
Love you,
down.
my
So,
sister.
anywho, I heard you just say something about can you trust people you don't know? So there's different levels of trust. Like I'm gonna trust the pilot to fly the plane I'm on. I'm gonna trust that he knows what he's doing and pray he hasn't done a couple of lines before takeoff. But am I gonna trust somebody on the metaverse to give me advice about life and stuff? I can't say that I am. And as a younger person, I always was, I'm going to trust everybody until they give me a reason not to trust them. And that always got me in a lot of trouble. So I learned along the way, I don't trust people until they give me a reason to trust them. And that doesn't, that's several different ways to show to show that you can be trusted, for each person. But yeah, I like the topics you were having today.
Hey, there was a part I left out.
Mhm.
There was another thought that inspired these thoughts. So I'm missing foundations. That's,
Mhm.
communication, painting the picture. I heard something from Alan Watts earlier, inspired something within me that all that we are, any of us, all that we are in our minds is what others have told us. And so it's
Right.
real easy to create ourselves in these limitations and these definitions, these words and limits that others have created. We don't
Mhm.
have to accept those.
Mhm.
And the point is, can you accept the truth the truth, recognizing the moment, and just trusting in the moment and yourself. That's the key I've learned, Cynthia.
Mm. And that,
Trusting in myself and my ability to know what is true and not. And that way I don't have to discern. I mean, certainly in evaluating anything, you're discerning the context, where's it coming from? Yeah, the context, which would include who it's coming from, where it's coming from, their relevance.
mm-hmm.
Ooh, but it's not their relevance. If we look at everyone as a messenger, as a part of one great happening, which is what we are just life that is happening. So far, this is where we're at. And so if we look at each person as just a part of that, as part of revealing to us the experience that they want us to see or hear, if this makes sense, it's like how to be in the moment right now. Oh, here's another beautiful bright light to join. Our sister Angeline.
Hi,
God bless.
Angeline. You look beautiful
Hi.
today.
Thank you. Me, long time no see.
Hey, I am feeling blessed. Did you just tune in or were you around for the conversations? The
I
monologue?
kind of heard some stuff off and on, but mostly
Okay.
just catching up, though.
I am truly feeling blessed. Two women I adore, sincerely.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
you're both very strong, divine feminine, right? Strong in your faith, strong in your woman beingness. I feel honored to have you both here right now, man.
Cynthia's
God is
super
so.
easy to adore.
Oh,
And by the way, I gotta find that channel you told me about because I tried finding it and I can't find it.
which one?
The other one you're doing.
Oh, your friend
Yeah.
Cynthia. Okay,
Yeah.
I've got you.
Okay, yay.
Hey, I like when you were saying being in the moment and you just learning how to be in the moment. And that's something myself that I have for a while I've strived. I'm going to accomplish all these goals at home. My house is going to be completely organized by the end of the year. I'm going to have everything lined up. And I achieved all of that. And now I'm sitting here like, what's about to happen? Like, I just find myself pacing around the house. I don't even know what to do because I no longer have the projects. I've accomplished them all. And so it's the transition of, okay, you've done, your foundation is solid now. It's time for you to work on your creations. And that's been a hard phase for me to turn into because I'm so used to being always behind something. And so I'm learning how to be in this moment right now. It's okay just to sit down and do nothing. It's okay to go for that walk. And so it's interesting you bring this up right now. I love the conversation.
That's so amazing, Cynthia. Me next. I want to be there next.
It's like, guys, I was even scared because it was almost time to renew my lease. And I was like, hey, they always raise rents and stuff. What am I going to do? I was stressed and they lowered it. This is the first time in my life my apartments have ever lowered rent. And I do work out, Daddy. I'm up to 15 minutes a day. But that's what I'm saying. I finally have a chance to do everything I wanted to do, not what needed to be done. And that's just a weird place to be in for me.
Hey, I want to congratulate you sincerely, Cynthia, and the synchronicity. I love that you're catching it. Pay attention to what the universe is bringing. That's what I'm talking about. To be present Sincerely, it's simple. Praise God. You grow in your appreciation for life in itself. Each moment can become special for us as long as we're willing to let it go.
Yeah. And share
Some,
it.
And
sometimes
share it.
when we're really busy and then we feel like kind of caught up, it's a strange place to be, and it's a time to like really discover yourself. And wow, like what do I want to do and what do I like, and right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
Hey,
Absolutely. That feels.
I love that because that, yes, Cynthia, congratulations. You're going into a new area, a new level of comfort. It,
It's,
it
but
sounds
it's
like
uncomfortable right now. And so I keep asking
good.
myself, ooh, let me go mess something up so I can have something to clean. You know what I mean?
Hey,
But I'm like, no, you don't want to do that. Like I've
right.
been looking into what you and I were talking about, Angeline, on the purses and stuff. So like this is just a new way for me. A new phase in life. And it can always be scary. It can be scary at times.
well,
I want to
I
go
was
ahead.
gonna say, keep putting yourself into situations, especially social situations that like feed the things you love for yourself, like that you want to be around, right? So
Mm-hmm.
maybe like join up, I don't know, maybe some art groups. I don't know if they have that there, but here they have like these cool paint nights at different cafes, and like, but just it's discovering ourselves outside of having to do stuff around us, but then also discovering ourselves around people who are going to feed what we want to feed in ourselves. And it's like a
Mm-hmm.
whole new adventure, right?
It is.
Hey, I want to congratulate you on your awareness, the recognition that I might have this tendency to go create some chaos just to feel like there's something going on, right? Having the awareness that yes, we can self-destruct our peace, our success. We can do so much to ourselves when we're not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
And Cynthia, well, yes, what Angeline was saying too about doing the things you want, growing in that. That's what I'd offer to you. If you're finding this place of okay, where's the next challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where you're at. I'd
Yeah.
suggest finding another goal and perhaps another version of you that you want to become, like a new level of success in
Yeah.
different ways, whatever ways that can inspire you, doing what you want, what you enjoy.
In the past, I can only speak for myself. It seemed unattainable because I felt like I had so much things that I needed to do first to even get there. And so to be in that for the first time, I can start to like I can start to imagine the next level. I keep calling it, I'm leveling up. I'm leveling up. I keep telling all my friends, they're like, what are you talking about? And they don't understand what I'm talking about. I'm like, I'm leveling up. Like I'm in a Mario game or something.
You got the game. But
Mm,
I've heard it said, and be aware, new levels bring new devils,
indeed.
right?
Yes.
The new areas of growth, they do bring some darkness. We kind of stumble around a little bit, make mistakes again. But breaking out maybe a lot after years of relationship, you break out separate, or Angelina will be facing at some point, the children are ready to fly away. And, so it'll be a transition, figuring out what's going on again. Um,
Yeah.
Totally.
No, go
I
ahead.
think the more we figure out, like the more we get to where we think we need to be, it's really just another level of being like, okay, I got past all that stuff I was looking at, and now there's all this new stuff I have to look at, right? Because all that other stuff was in front of it for so long. So it really is a never-ending journey. Like healing, even healing is such a roller coaster ride, right? And I feel like sometimes even when you get like to that place of safety or that where you want to be or whatever, then new stuff comes up that couldn't come up before to be looked at, right? And to be healed. So it really is a never ending journey.
It really is.
If we can humble ourselves to that, we give less resistance, right? But it's the absolute truth. We're constantly growing. And as you were talking, you were reminding me of it was my story. I had this false sense of security going along to get along pretty much with the public service job and, the former military title. And then I started wondering, maybe there could be more. Maybe there could be something different than what I used to know. And then part of that too was getting over the booze choices I was making. Thank God I got through that.
Absolutely, but to even just take it off of booze and say our self-destructive behavior, because we all have it. We all have it in one form or another. And we have to learn to tune that out. I actually like when Jesse came up a couple of days ago, I think it was your panel, Jack, where he said, that's not true, because we always in the sense like when good comes, bad comes. And he was saying that, no, that's really not true. That's just what we tricked ourselves into believing.
Yep.
And that's in the state that I'm in. Like, okay, everything's so good. What's about to happen? Then I'm like, no, it doesn't have to really be that way.
Good. Sorry. Good for you. Yes. Fight those thoughts because they're not real. That's what we've been taught. We're waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? When's the violent cycle going to start happening? Most of that is self-destructive. So good for you for catching that. Things don't have to get worse. Things can get better. And they are.
We're the ones who block and allow. And when we realize that, it's just like when you said, Jack, you're like, you'd kind of brought yourself to a place of what if? And that's coming to a place of like opening and allowing something new, a new experience, right?
Yes. Holy cows. The opening and allowing new experience. That was the same time I stopped resisting so much the feminine part, the feminine aspects of life. And you macho men, get off it. You figure it out, right? That acceptance, allowance, it brings forth new life, man. The divine energies are to be protected. Ooh, you protect those divine energies of acceptance and allowance with the truth. Man, God is powerful.
Indeed, indeed.
You were saying something earlier about trusting ourselves, and were you saying something about trusting our feelings or just trusting ourselves? I can't remember, but that made me think of something that when I came on and then I lost track of it. But I've been learning a lot about like complex PTSD, and I think one of the biggest things you realize, or one of the hardest places to come to, is realizing, oh my gosh, maybe I can't trust my feelings or my thoughts or whatever, because you can be, even without a memory attached or whatever, you can be in something called an emotional flashback and not realize why you're feeling something so intensely, that kind of sends you on a roller coaster of thoughts. And then when you become aware of that, it changes everything, because then you have to kind of learn to be like, oh wow, I think I'm in an emotional flashback right now, and I don't know if all of the fearful thoughts rushing to me are actually real and reasonable, or me going back to that place in childhood in that emotion that where I felt it so intense. So you have to figure out, how do you get yourself regulated, and then be able to dissect those thoughts and how real or not they were. So we're always becoming more and more aware of ourselves. So I don't know, like, that you can always trust yourself, but you can always become more aware of yourself, for sure.
I love what you brought up, because I hadn't considered that in that perspective. You're absolutely right. But the identify where I'd heard similarly regarding those with, like, they're very empathic, the people who are real sensitive to the energies and to the experiences of others. It's a challenge for those people to figure out, are these my feelings? Are these current feelings? Are they memories in what you were saying? Or is it someone else's feelings? And we're all dealing with those different balances of memory, subconscious, and then the current. Is it me or outside? What is real? It's a
I think
divide.
I think a really hard thing too is that people who experienced really horrific things when they're really young, maybe between the ages of 0 and 3 or that age, it's something that's always been there. So I think life can become really confusing when you realize all the things you've always felt may not be normal, right? And then you have to be like, then it's almost this whole journey of learning, like, what is normal, because those things, those emotions, those all that stuff has always been there. So it's yeah, we all have a big journey.
Angeline, what you're just, that's, it's so true. It kind of ties into what Cynthia was experiencing too. There's a change. Sometimes we go through these changes in life and we've got to reaccustom what is normal, what is right for me. And figuring out the feelings, that's a big part too. Figuring out what is true there.
Mm-hmm. Why do we do what we do? Why do we keep landing in the same places? Why do the keep creating the same things? Sometimes we can just have no clue, and that's where it is good to get some help outside of us sometimes too.
Sorry. Yes, community. That's why relationships are so important. Honest feedback, right? Honest feedback to let us know, to talk through our feelings sometimes, right? And to get a better understanding of, why am I feeling these things? What I chose to do for myself is to consciously remind myself I can feel good anytime I want. And we can. Just like we can feel bad anytime we want. We can get angry. We can turn ourselves on with thoughts. Living in the present, that's the key. The past is, okay, so everything in the past, all the memories, all the feelings from the past, they were experiences that we went through. And so we can learn from those things whatever we can. And if we can find ways to laugh at the old feelings, laugh at the old pains, laugh at the old stories, it brings new life in us. And we're here to feel good. We are here to laugh and to play and to learn and to love. And that is what life is really about. The world's confused, okay? It's not a secret. We actually want the others to know that that they're confused that the soldiers don't have to actually obey the generals. It's kind of made up. I don't know. Oh, and the government officials, they don't actually have to obey corporations. They actually don't even have to obey their parties. Those individual citizens in Congress, I think they need to be reminded that they don't need to obey as much as they need to lead the nation and the masses into greater peace, greater abundance for the future. This is where we're at. We are the generation right here and now. We've all been learning how to overcome our shit, right? So that we can help others either avoid or overcome theirs. So just what makes sense. I mean, if God's going to create all this stuff, all these painful experiences for us, why? Well, so we can figure out what the world is and we can figure out who we are. We made it this far. I think we got to be pretty tough to make it this far.
Absolutely. Being human is not the easiest experience.
Not at all. And yet, I was praying for it to end, right? Not that long ago. I used to pray to be done. But I really do feel like life is just beginning. For me, where I feel where I'm at, I'm like, it is going to take a miracle. It is going to take God to help this work out. That's for darn sure. But
It's
But
going to be
that's
okay, Jack. It's going to be okay.
I know it is.
Yes.
Dude, each day it's like another amazing day. And it's like, holy cows. I
It's just
can't believe this is my life. How did I get to here? I mean, I know what I did. What's that?
I said I often ask myself that where did I go wrong? But it's always good.
Right.
It always works out. You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't see that coming. That threw me
Cynthia,
for a loop.
yes. I saw enough of those to realize, holy shit, there's something beyond just me. There's something in this that's helping
Absolutely.
things work out. So why don't I start to have fun with that and relax and enjoy it and maybe kind of push it a little bit. And if I'm going to push the forces that are there to help me succeed, I'm going to dream big, man. I want wars to end. I want slavery to be done. It's time for the world to create a new dream. Oh, a dream together? Oh, that is my dream, where all the people unite together for it just makes sense. God with love brings forth life in all different forms, and that process brought us into being. We're not here to be slaves to the memories or opinions or anything else. We are here to live freely each moment, right? Each moment, truly, authentically becoming the living truth, which is who we are when we're honest and authentic, when we're not governed by our memories and our reactions. When we're honest and authentic, especially, we are the living truth. And I think we are here to help each other create the perfect lives for each other, right? Not individual life of perfection, but create a perfect world for everyone to live beautifully, right? I think this is the lifetime that this can happen. I mean, it just makes sense because that's how time works. If we're alive, why couldn't it? except our disbelief, our lack of trust. And Angeline, this is what I've been figuring out for me. I've got to trust each moment. That's it. I just got to make sure and get through each moment. And as long as I'm trusting each moment, I'm not actually, no, I've done some stupid shit. I confronted drug dealers. I confronted policemen. I confronted, I've done all sorts of stupid stuff. But as long as I can trust myself to stay calm and present in the moment, we can do whatever we need. And what I think what we need to do, all of us, for ourselves to heal, we got to speak the truth that we know. And that's why, to swing it back, that's why I wanted to plant the seed of thought from a stranger to remind you of how magnificent you are. In case you hadn't heard it for a little while. Just a reminder.
Yep. I think when we go into the unknown and we stay open to being a vessel, you never know what's going to happen, and Source can continue to show us things beyond ourselves and what we know and try to control, and right? And we all go about figuring that out in different ways.
Yes. All paths are leading to the truth. All paths, and the truth is the realization. Holy cows. Praise God. God is so amazing. Sincerely, that is where it's at. If you can, to change your mood, remind yourself of the things you appreciate. And if you can just praise God, I get to live. This is a crazy, unique, create your own adventure. Life is. You get to create your own adventure, making the choices that you want, not the choices others give you. Oh, that's the trick. That's how they've confused us. People have been conditioned to believe there's limited choices. I had no other choice but to react. I used to say that. I used to believe I had no other choice than to have a drink. Until I proved myself wrong.
Honestly, I think part of free will is that there's all kinds of different timelines in the same place. And there's people living in, if you want to call it hell, the made up word of hell or heaven or whatever. It's like there's people actually living the things you're dreaming about. And there's people living our worst nightmares and everything in between. And this part of the experience and part of the free will is having all these different timelines or things we can align with and grow into and go on an adventure on, right? Like at any moment, like we can sit in the unknown and experience something new by allowing, or going to try something completely different and discovering a whole other world we didn't even know existed. And it's like all here right now, right? And I think one of the best things we can do is just keep going for the better and better. And the more people who discover it, the bigger it gets, right? And I mean, as soon as we find something better, there's going to be something better and better, because that's just the way expansion goes. So we're never really done. Just got to choose the best one we can for ourselves right now and figure out if anything blocks us from that or keeps us stuck.
Yes. Planting the seed of thought, sparking that light of hope within ourselves that things can get better, right? And even though things are good, believing in better, knowing that change is what life brings forth. It really is. I got distracted. Wizard down there in the chat. He's such an angry old coot. He and I could get along if he'd get past his darn opinions. Wizard, get past your opinions and feel free to click the link, all right? Bring yourself in a good mood. We'll get along just fine. So we don't. Actually, I don't know why I invite. Please forgive me, ladies.
No, it's fine. I'm trying to be on my best behavior.
Well, this is what I just realized. That was rude of me. I just invited chaos into what is a delightful and light has been a beautiful conversation with ladies of light, right?
But back when y'all were talking about the moment, like, you know, enjoying the moments, that's something like you have to really push through it. And it's so easy to want to fall back into that routine. That is so easy because it's comfortable and you're familiar with it, and you know, and it's just the right, like Goldilocks, it's just the right for you.
Mm-hmm.
But life isn't that way. The world changes, people change, relationships change, everything changes, weather changes, everything changes. And there's just it. And sometimes for me, that can be a time I'm hesitant to go through, because I'm like, no, I love what I have. And it's not like the materialistic things. I just like the sense of security that I have. But that's part of letting go and letting something greater guide you.
Not only that, but we actually get wired to things. So we actually get wired to the familiar, and our body gets really comfortable in certain routines. And so when we try to go outside of that, we actually get a sense of discomfort. Our body and our nervous system can actually start freaking out and being like, what are you doing? Why are you doing something different?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So then we have to work through that too.
Absolutely. Slomo, welcome.
Yeah, what's up, peeps? How you guys doing?
Feeling blessed.
Awesome, man.
Go ahead.
I'm new here. This is my first time. I've just really been enjoying this stream of consciousness, man. It's been super epic. I feel like you're getting some divine downloads from the universe right now.
I believe
it's all love, man.
Blessings.
I think so, man. I'm feeling the love. I'm feeling the blessings from just the divine feminine on this panel. And it's super dope. So I'm really happy to be here, man.
You are welcome. Thank you. Blessings. And
blessings.
Lamb of God.
You know, it wasn't too long ago.
Oh my gosh.
You said,
be nice, please.
I'm just repeating what you said.
Please. All right.
You said not too long ago, and this goes to your mentality, Jack, and I firmly believe this, and yes, it is my opinion. So it's your right to get angry, but if you get angry because I'm stating my opinion on what you said, then that again is on you. You asked me to come up here peacefully. I'm here peacefully. I'm speaking plainly. Mm-hmm. You said, sometimes I think we just need to not allow God to work through us. Tonight, you just got done saying not too long ago, it's about making our own choices. I wonder, is that the selfishness of making a choice for you rather than choosing the choice that God put in your heart before all of this corruption of the language? Think about that. I came up peacefully. I'm done.
Do you wish an answer? Or just to stay in your confusion, brother?
He's just wizarding. That's what he does.
He's a beautiful man, and his heart has been bruised. It's clear.
Wizard,
Speaking of bruise,
stay out of your imagination.
Welcome, brother. Good to see you.
How are you, Jack?
I'm good. I turned you down just a touch. You're coming in a little hot.
I'm very loud anyway. It's all right.
I'm used to it. There's a time and place. You're not always. I don't know. Where were we? Oh, we were celebrating the beauty and the light of Keith, of Wizard, our dear friend. He
Yeah, and then he fucking shit on all of us.
he's, you know what? Like Slomo said, the divine is here. The divine is with us all, man. Everything's perfect. At the moment, there's a perfection in all moments to be found. And if we can trust that there is a perfection to this moment, well, this moment is just like all other moments. So why not? Let the perfection be known. Perfection abounds throughout time. Who are we to judge, man? We're just fucking temporary, right?
I've been trying to tell Wizard it feels good to feel good, man.
Right. I mean, it's so obvious. And sometimes we will sacrifice feeling good just to be right. I used to do that, and I think that might be what he's doing. He'd rather be right than feel good.
I figure I can be right and feel good. What I'm
Sometimes.
working on.
That's the best way to be. But what I found there is kind of what we were talking about earlier, figuring out those feelings inside so that we are true and authentically having fun.
Wizard, he's down in chat now, cursing at everyone in all caps. That means he's yelling. You just said you were being peaceful, and you're not now. All caps is not peaceful. No, not even that one. The next one. Bitch ass slaves in all caps. He's yelling in typing language.
That was the question that was asked. Okay, I didn't mean to overlook this. Why does God allow child abuse? Why does
It's
God
called
allow
free
pain?
will.
Why does God allow
Exactly,
pain
free will.
or pleasure? Yeah, and free will. It's through the abuse that we learn that lessons are learned through both sides. And we only have a small little glimpse of time. In the infinite expression of time, I believe there's karma. There's everything that is cause and effect, and pain does bring forth, well, it can bring forth lessons, and it's a motivator. It causes us to move. So the pains of the past have brought us to where we are. I believe we can work towards a future where there is a lot less child abuse, because secrets aren't kept, within the households. I don't want the neighbors to think poorly if, meanwhile the kid coming to school all battered and fucking bruised. I think we can do a lot better in the future. And
Yeah, we're kind of all like little divine expressions scattered throughout time. You know what I mean?
And yet part of the same one expression that expresses all time is expressing us in the here and now. And
Exactly.
back to the idea of child abuse. And I'll bring it back to the earlier stream on Paul's platform, defending the devil. I think by God's order, by God's design, the darkness is allowed. That's what evil is. Evil is that which separates or creates the illusion, separation from the light. But the darkness doesn't last through the light. It's like an infinite game of life, cosmos, that the creator is creating. All we know is what is real to us, each of us. Each of us, we know our real experience, but we only know our part. And our part of the greater story, man, the human history, the story of humans, dude, it's a crazy story. It's friggin' fabulous. There's so many amazing lives being lived right now and in the past. There's so many examples for us to learn from in good ways and bad. And we have the free will within us. So God allows temptation. God allows the darkness to be our ignorance, right? And even allows us to have within us a spirit that wants to be selfish, wants to be greedy, wants to be lustful. It's part of the game, man. We're supposed to overcome the beast, not let the beast control.
I think a hard thing too, though, is when we grow up with abusive parents, we can start to believe the things that they tell us we are and that they speak over us, and then we can be like, oh, well, I must be this thing, and then start to be that thing, the reflection of that thing. And you know, a lot of us need a lot of love to kind of find out who we really are and just how much we really are loved too, without, I don't know, a lot of us go through our whole lives trying to figure out where we started off from, like trying to reconcile our past, right? And we just keep repeating things over and over again to try and get that. And because something in us knows something's not right, and usually that's something we believe about ourselves. So
Yes.
Yeah, and we kind of begin to open portals from our past, right? When we need to be opening portals of peace, yo.
Yes. All of that. What you said about becoming a reflection too, a reflection of that past. That's what I did. And these patterns in life, each of us, we're going through our own growth, our own patterns, and our individual patterns are a part of the greater collective because we're a part of everything that's around us, and yet we're not. So the patterns in my life, there was a lot of anger, and there was a lot of anger shown in the household that I was raised. And I never crossed the line into physical, but for me, I didn't deal with the patterns of anger with healthy ways. I numbed myself and I denied my feelings. I didn't actually understand and spent a lifetime trying to figure myself out. But the good news, I believe, is I believe we are the generation, we being all of us gathered here especially. I think we are the generation that's here to break those cycles, break the patterns. We're going to start redefining ourselves, not from those angry words of the people, the confused people of our past. We're going to let those angry words from the past go away. We're going to start replacing those words with new definitions, redefining who it is we present to the world today. And let the facts speak for themselves. We become. Go ahead.
You were talking about kids earlier too, and like nothing will teach us like kids, because especially your own kids, because they become a reflection of you that and if you start to see that wow, they're reflecting me and something in me that I wasn't even aware of before, that now I got to buckle down on. It's like, and they come here, that expansion, like they're often our teachers because they come in wired and ready for something we're not. And that's
Yeah,
part
they're
of
like
going
divine
with
little
it or
teachers.
totally. And then we all get that choice of expanding with what's coming or resisting as well, right? The falling away or the expanding.
We are. And those children, the children are. That's part. I think it's part of God's design, but the society we were born into is fucking confused. It takes those with a lifetime of wisdom and throws them in retirement homes, and then hires the people they can pay the least to take care of them. And then our children are paid similar. You know, parents are so quick to put the children off into a daycare so they can go earn a slave wage. I'm guilty of these things. Well, I didn't put my mom away, but praise God.
Right on, man.
I see the future where we do a better job. And parents, anyone who is a parent, especially you got those kids with you,
Count that again.
learn from them. Humble yourself to what they are bringing, the reflection that they're showing you. That's you.
3.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, they're literally little light bearers. You know, you learn so much from kids.
And that snaps to that list. What?
We can hear you, Cynthia. Do you know we can hear you?
Oh, I'm talking to the chat. They're upset because I timed out.
I'm like hearing you counting and stuff, and I'm like, I wonder if she knows.
Yeah, no, she's too busy. Like she's too busy causing chaos and controversy and chatting on the phone with other people and not paying attention to what Jack's saying or what we're speaking about.
Oh my God,
it's kind of disappointing. You can do better, right? You could do better.
She was talking to me.
Yeah, you could do better.
She was.
I want to believe you could do better.
Paul, it's kind of sad how pathetic you are.
I'm just trying to bring Jack's attention to the 10 people down there who said, why is Cynthia fighting us, yelling at us, banning us? Why is she on panel ignoring the conversation to cause chaos and controversy and chat and giggle like a little girl?
Paul, you are really jealous of me.
Actually,
there's nothing to be jealous of, sweetie.
Why are you always over here calling my name?
I'm pointing out your failings. I'm pointing out your mischief and failures, like the Tao says. Let the wise man chase you, show you where you have fallen, where you may yet to fall.
Look at you.
Your mischief is your undoing, Cynthia Queen.
Hold on,
Queen. You could do better.
Paul, please, out of respect, because in this case, Paul, thank you for speaking up for what the chat was saying. Cynthia, please. And I'm sure I'd probably get a text or a call from Snafu soon, whining and complaining about that. Please realize there are repercussions, okay? And maybe you don't.
Babies. If they're going to sit down there and insult me, I'm not going to allow it. If they're going to sit down there and insult you, I'm not going to allow it because it throws the vibe off of here.
Yes.
And if they don't know how to come here and not be insulting, then
can you just practice some self-control?
Can you please allow me to
Can you practice some detachment and self?
I haven't even spoke.
I know. Please. Sorry for the interruption. Please. Cynthia, I agree. When people are in the chat, and especially if they're being rude to you, I've seen how rude people are. So I don't fault you in the slightest. Okay? I don't. I'm not saying you've done anything wrong whatsoever because we haven't talked. We haven't talked about it. Okay? It's all happening now.
Yeah, this has been the same pattern for a while, Jack. Let's just be clear about it.
Hey, well, there's reason.
And Jack, there's a bit of a double standard because
inappropriate. Sorry to speak over you.
Jack, let's call it as it is. She's down there using the shield of the wrench to not be timed out while she's insulting other people. And then when they bite
Who
back,
did I insult,
she's-
Paul? Can you
we
please point
can't
out who I
choose who we're
insulted?
going to talk over and not talk over. If we're going to have a standard, let's keep the same
Paul,
standard.
Pauline,
Let's
can you
not have
please
double,
point out
triple
who I
standards here in
insulted?
all ways, please. I was speaking. She doesn't like the truth. She doesn't like being called out. A lot of folks over here don't do well with accountability.
Okay, let's take a breath. We're all growing together. We do trigger each other sometimes.
Right.
Okay?
We got to do breath work sometimes, man.
We need breath work
Well,
here. Cynthia, stop eating. We're going to breathe
yes.
for a little bit.
Who
we can
who was I
all
being
be
rude to,
kind.
Paul? Can you please
Cynthia,
point out
all
the
of us.
comment or the
Cyn-
person I was being rude to?
Well, yeah, me. I don't even need to know who you did it to anyone else
yeah,
because you
I
did it to
did
me
it
as
to
soon as I came in here. Who are you kidding?
Paul,
Was it
please.
rude?
Here, Cynthia, you know what? Obviously.
Nice try. You almost got yourself out of that with a lie.
No, come on.
Keep
Look,
lying. Maybe you'll be able to really perfect it.
there are many people revealing kind of ugliness of their character.
Well, she
think
revealed that months ago. No one apparently saw it.
Hey, we're all growing. You know what? Let's come back to the present.
You know what I'm going to do, Jack? Let me do something uncharacteristic of myself. I'm going to go ahead and praise Angeline. You know why? Because she continues to stay the course. She continues to focus on seemingly, I don't know her behind the scenes, but being a loving, caring person, speaking her truth. And she lets me do my gorilla act and talk my shit and pretend to be messy Hal. You know, boys will be boys. And she just continues to do what she does and doesn't get involved seemingly in any of the drama or the nonsense. So I'm going to go ahead and praise her since I'm always like being critical of other people acting out.
That's good, man. That's a great progression.
And I've been an asshole, right, when it comes to her and Jesse and others. So, I mean, again, either she's being disingenuous or she's showing strength in that sense, just not being reactive. Maybe it comes naturally to her.
She's a strong lady. That's what I've seen in Angeline. So I think that's a strength. I agree. Angeline does a great job of not being involved, not appearances, right?
Well, because we never truly know, right? But over time, the truth always comes out. But I'm saying from what I've seen, there seems to be some consistency there. So even if it is just a practice, right, it's still 1 for 1 because you can fake it till you make it, right? If you practice living a certain way, at a certain point, it just becomes second nature. And part of that practice is not being reactive and not feeding into the supposed negativity or the darkness. We look at it, we understand it, we become better, or we leave it where it's at.
Yeah. I think, go ahead, please.
I think when you kind of grow up around enough chaos, you learn just to choose where you want to flow in and where you don't. And you just let things be what they are because you learn in life you can't really control that stuff, but you can choose where you're going to insert yourself and where you're going to look and where you're not and where you're going to go a different way.
I accept that. It's all a choice at the end of the day.
That was my guess.
Control your energy, yo. Control your energy.
It takes the darkness sometimes. And I've heard enough of Angeline's stories. She came from some dark places. She saw some darkness. And that's the light we're seeing today, man. That is her strength that God has graced her with. And I thank you, Angeline, for shining the light of who you are the way that you do. You really are inspiring. And Cynthia is too, and Paul is too.
Thank you, Jack.
Well, don't ruin the sentiment by bringing the Gorgon creature into the statement. I mean, that's just disingenuous.
I
That
knew I'd
was so
figure it.
rude. And it's
She's not an
uncalled
inspiring
for. Like,
person.
they just
She's
take
repulsive.
shots.
In
And
her
that
way,
you can think that,
she
but
is
you don't know how to
very
sit up here and be
inspiring.
quiet.
She's a repulsive creature. Look at her right now. I could say anything about Angeline. She's never going to respond like that because she's a woman.
You're a
You're a
woman too,
repulsive,
Paul. You're a woman
obnoxious,
too.
masculine creature, and you have no divine femininity and grace within you. And you have no mercy.
Yeah,
I've
I
seen you
don't
attack
value
dozens
you,
of people
Paul,
and then
and I
ban them when
don't
they bite
value
back.
your opinion
You're a
of me.
cretin.
I don't
What
value
is
you,
this?
and I don't value your opinion
Oh,
of
Well,
me.
you did value me till I didn't love you.
Nothing
Till I
to
didn't
me.
love you the
So
way that you
please
needed to
feel
be
free
loved.
to say
Paul,
whatever you need to
what
say
if
to
she's
make yourself feel better.
reflecting? What if she's reflecting you?
It doesn't work that way. The whole point of
It
divine
does work
femininity
that
is yielding
way.
to the moment and the truth and going above and beyond the worldly nonsense. So she
Paul,
doesn't have to reflect and mirror what all the other broken boys are doing on here. When she does that, she reveals her position and status.
it's
I don't care
you
what
have
you think about me,
similarities
Paul.
between you. You do.
That's kind of like your opinion, man.
Well, it's kind of like the
Yes.
facts. That's why she doesn't have a partner and isn't going to have a partner because no man
the
is going to want to
thing
go
is-
straight with
have a
that.
partner,
That's a
don't have a
presumption.
partner. You don't know.
You know, we're
anything about
all
me.
of it, and we have to accept that. Every horrible thing, every wonderful thing, we're all of it, and we just choose what we're gonna like put out there or not put out there. But it doesn't matter. It's in this world we've got infinite choices, and we can be whoever we want, and you can judge whatever you want in those choices. But it doesn't really matter.
That
Yeah, you
is
can either choose to accept what people,
That's
how they
right.
judge you and what they say about you, or you just let it roll off your back because you understand that it comes from something that's not important to you and it's
Well-
coming from a malice place.
Where it comes from doesn't have to be important. The truth within is what's
Come
important.
from a malice place. You could
It's-
never
It
tell me
doesn't
the
matter
truth
what the
about my
intention
truth.
is. The truth can still be
Yes.
within the malintent.
You don't
Hold
know my
on,
truth.
Please.
If
'Cause
someone calls me a
actually,
fat
Paul,
fuck and it's
please.
true, it doesn't matter what the
Paul, please. Okay, Cynthia, this kind of comes back to the earlier message I was offering. When we judge the messenger, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got to just humble ourselves to the truth. And what Angeline said, everything can be true about us. And so if we just listen and just stay trusting in the moment, trusting in now, and you're right, if it's words we choose don't apply, they don't apply, but don't judge the messenger. That's what I'm suggesting, please, okay?
But we can certainly have boundaries and love ourselves and choose what we want to allow in to our world and what we don't, and what parts we want to feed in ourselves and not.
Correct.
And part
I
of that
totally
is
agree
learning
with
to
that.
stand up for ourselves.
I totally agree with that, but I don't think that we should try to censor or stave off the persecutors and the prosecutors. They may be some of our greatest teachers and testers.
Yes, but we got to be careful we don't become the prosecutors and the perpetrators, because it's really easy to become the things we hate. Real easy. Different reflections of different.
Right, but why are we hating?
That's the key. Because we're afraid, and we shouldn't be afraid. We should be
And
grateful.
that's my point. I don't hate prosecutors and persecutors. I understand that they have a goal and an intention, and within that is something for me to learn from.
I don't hate those types of people either, but I also choose my timeline and participation.
There you go.
Right, it's this and that. The point is we don't go into ignorance. We just either accept the truth within what we don't like, or we say that's not true and we leave it there. There's no space for reactivity.
Well, the
We do
key
choose
is,
our participation.
yes.
Jack, going
Right,
back
and,
to what you
and
were saying-
Cynthia's living her truth, yo. Cynthia's living her truth.
Again, there is no such
Going
thing as
back-
your and my and his and her truth. There's our perspectives, and then there's the truth. We're working on a journey in our perspective to meet the truth together, apparently. What else are we doing here?
Jack, going back to what you were saying about when people have to tell you stuff, like I definitely agree with that, but I also look at the source and I look at, are they coming from a malice place? And I can speak on behalf of this guy. He's got nothing but malice towards me. It resonates in him, and I'm okay with that. And I
If
don't
you
have a
decide
problem
that, then
with it.
that'll always
And
be
I
true for
wasn't-
you.
I wasn't
If you
finished
decide that, that'll always be
I
true for
wasn't
you and I.
speaking.
That's
I have no
exactly-
problem with him hating me. I have
You're
no problem
presuming
with
I
him
hate you.
not
You're
liking
creating and
me.
you're in your imagination and you're creating a whole bunch of narratives so you can feel justified in
Can
your
I
position.
finish speaking?
I've
You
never
don't- you
said
didn't
I
even
hated you.
Allow me to finish
Paul,
speaking.
please let her finish, and then we'll do the
And
same.
I have no problem with anybody on this metaverse having an issue with me and not liking me. That's fine. You are entitled to that. But understand this, I will never take anything that they say an opinion, and I will never hold value to it because you are valueless to me.
You just confirmed your foolishness and ego.
That's true.
How
Cynthia,
did I confirm my foolishness?
like
and ego?
your conclusion that he is without value.
He is
Okay.
to me, and I'm sorry.
Right,
We have
because
to-
you've chosen to see that way, right? You can choose infinite possibilities from what is presented. And I can see the good and bad in you. I can see the good and bad in Paul, in me. I can see the good and bad in all of us, and I know you can as well.
Absolutely, but I can't see good in him, and I'm not going to
You
apologize
can if
for
you
that. And
want
I'm not
to.
saying that to be hateful or malice. I'm saying that as in that's my honest opinion.
Well,
And I can't
Cynthia,
sit up here and lie
I
and act like
understand.
I do like him when I
Cynthia,
don't.
Cynthia,
But instead of always insulting him, I sit here and be quiet when he speaks.
right. I've seen that. But here's something I want you to consider, okay? As a friend, I do consider you a friend regarding the
Ditto,
encouragement and support I've seen and experienced.
ditto.
Paul has his role, and Paul will learn his way as well, but part of his role is to help confront egos. And what you're doing with you're presenting your ego in your judgment. This is I think my role is to be an outside observer of things.
Ego or judgment? Like I don't know if that's like I can sense it. I can just sense the malice in them, and it's just that's
This,
just what I don't like. And
Cynthia,
anybody, not just in real life or and when you know that somebody's malicious, I
okay.
stay away from them.
Well, but Cynthia, please recognize this is part of what we were talking about earlier, recognizing the truth of the feelings. Because I've had people blame me for their feelings, right? I've been blamed because people got afraid or they got offended or whatever. The feelings are not always true, and we got to figure out what is true about this moment and this feeling. And if we're just going to, create an association, that we got to be careful with the associations of the feelings and especially people.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying, believe me, I see what you have experienced from an outside, Cynthia. I can understand your opinion and why it may be challenging for you to want to find good, but there's good in both of you. I assure you. And if
Yeah,
you
I
can,
see Paul as almost like an ego destroyer avatar right now. So
well, that's partially he
but
does, but it's because he's
right.
got a big, strong ego that can take a lot of abuse. But I feel for Paul too. He's a man. People have not been very kind or forgiving, willing to even give him another chance. Well, I don't know how many chances do you give someone, but
I'm going to use them all up anyway.
well, I have faith. I have faith that there's limits to even your stubbornness, Paul. Because I've
Don't be
seen
so sure. They've been trying to find that limit from the beginning.
hey, my life has been very similar. I've been telling you this, dude. Patience is a gift. Oh, praise God. I have been growing in my patience, my compassion, you know what? It's really easy. All we got to do is be excited about now.
Jack,
And
there's a place for everything, right? Every kind of thought, emotion, action, in a sense. So when they tell me that I'm like Taurus the bull and I've been stubborn all my life, there's probably a place for that. If I wasn't so stubborn, I probably wouldn't be so unslaved. You get what I'm saying?
Correct. It is true. There's also a strength in gentleness, kind of what Angeline was talking about regarding choosing. choosing when is the time. You know, which fight is mine.
Milk for the babes and meat for the strong men, Jack, like the scripture
Right.
says.
I know.
And if you want to act like a man and you're a woman, I'm going to treat you like one verbally.
Who's to judge, and what are the standards, and where, you know, how far back are we looking? Are we comparing what was to what is to what might be? Where are we at, right? Everything is open to interpretation, including every moment. And if I can interpret each moment as good, that's what I choose to do, because it feels good to feel good. And we're all a part of the one God, man. Doesn't matter what we think. We're all part of this one time together. So, Cynthia and Paul, it's easier and more fun when we don't have battles. Don't you know?
Dude, I don't have a problem sitting on a panel and not ignoring him. I just don't like that every time I speak, he it's a childish behavior.
What if
That's
it
the
wasn't?
issue I have.
What if
Yeah.
it wasn't?
Dude,
But what if it wasn't?
if he didn't do that, we would have no issues ever. I would never even speak to
Was
him.
it a childish behavior when I asked you why you took the B systems fluid
No,
into
it was
you?
childish behavior.
You're
when you
talking
made up
over me
lies
again.
about it.
See, they never want to extend the same things that they wish to have. That's the hypocrisy.
We can point it out, move on.
Childish the lies that you make up behind.
Was it childish when you broke bad and went on a campaign for months ever since I cared for you more than you cared for yourself? Was that childish?
Complete bullshit.
I don't know what
someone
that
says that they care for
She took the B system fluid into herself, and she contended that it was a good choice and that we should all do it. And I held her accountable to that decision. And I don't understand. I'm explaining what went on, and you're both attempting to cut me off. What is the purpose of that? What are we censoring right now?
I'm trying to find a resolve, and I understand.
The resolve is going to come from within her. It's not going to come from outside of her, because she's the one suffering and the one with the issues.
Okay, but it's also, there is an outside part to why she's dealing with it.
Yes, the more truthful you get with these people, the more they get offended by you.
That's one way
if I
of
can say
saying
something,
it.
what's more powerful, where we were or where we are?
Thank you.
Well, you'd have to ask the people who are either living in the now or living in the past. For the people living in the past, where right now is powerless. Can't you tell? They're struggling for power in the moment. Down in the chat box
Paul,
as a fake mod.
since you're the one bringing up the past, and I'm asking you, what's more powerful?
Right. I brought up the past to illustrate a dynamic that's taking place in the now consistently. Because some folks are living in the past and can't live in the now and get over their feelings about what was said that they did.
Hey, Paul. Okay, there's another part to the story where you're responsible. Through your judgment and your opinion, you saw a similarity to the past, and you chose in your righteousness to bring up memories of the past to be right now, instead of flowing with what could be. And
no, you asked a question. You asked a question about why this continues as if you had no clarity. So I was creating clarity by illustrating what the main crux of the problem and disconnect is.
Great.
So I was attempting to bring clarity and context to where there seemed to be confusion.
We can find a resolve just right now when we just simply allow the past to be. Okay.
Jack, you act like I'm the one who was not doing that behavior just before. Did you just miss what just happened? Or
Jack, I have an issue when people come to me and say, I care about you more than you care about yourself. Right there, that's a red flag for me. This is someone who's never talked to me on the phone.
There you go.
We've never had a connection.
You just convicted yourself again.
Flag for me, Jack. And that's that type of behavior that is toxic. It's malice, and I just want to stay away from it because it's not going to serve me.
Because you project that nobody else can have a selfless state of, I can't answer to what she's saying about me ever, huh? You're going to like spin the narrative for however you need it to be?
Why don't you pause and just
Can I ever just answer to what she's saying about me instead of it having to always go back and filter through you?
constant.
Can you just practice patience and wait for me to answer to what she's saying about me and then
Do you
speak
have any
after me? Is that
willingness to
possible?
Resolve, or are you just here to argue? My purpose is to try and find resolve. But if
Okay,
it
you
feels
find
that
resolve
go
without the other
ahead.
person
Don't
she's
speak.
speaking about involved in the conversation.
Yeah.
That's great counseling. That's great
Right.
mediating.
Yeah. My apologies. I've lost track now of what Cynthia offered. Please forgive my rude interruption and my attempt to find a different method of resolve. Paul, if you remember what you wanted to respond with, please, by all means, continue.
Yes, it's a conviction and an indictment on her state of consciousness. She presumes nobody else can be in a selfless state to care about others equally as much as they care about themselves, if not more.
Okay, great. So now instead of really just projecting a blame,
That's
let's-
not a blame.
let's
That's
discuss
culpability,
the
which
facts.
you don't like
Okay,
accountability for culpability.
Let's discuss the facts, okay, which I do agree with what you said, Paul, but there's no reason to just be all accusatory and
Not
punish.
accusatory. I'm speaking on the condition that's taking
Dude,
place.
chill out and take a breath, man. Fucking check back into the moment. We can relax.
So
Okay, if
because
we're
I'm not
present-
lukewarm and mediocre and like
Tell you
out of
what,
breath,
all right.
I'm like not relaxed, right? I'm not peaceful. I'm not present. I'm not clear.
Tell you what, let me
Just
come
float in
back.
the ether, man. Float in the ether.
We'll
He's
just
floating the
chill
ether,
out.
man.
If
Yeah, every
we're
one of those guys I
present-
meet has nothing going on in life.
Without the ego, there's no need to be so combative. There's no need to be so in
The
charge.
truth is combative, and every time I keep speaking it, everyone keeps getting reactive and defensive and making justifications for nonsense.
Hey, Paul, you're projecting right there. So please allow me to continue without your
Go ahead, sir.
belief. See, you're creating the reality for us that truth is combative, but I'm telling you, the truth brings resolve, man. All you got to
Based
do
on perspective.
all you got to do is accept that which is true, and there's no more reasons to argue.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Cynthia, what I was trying to get to, in agreement with Paul, good Lord, you make it so difficult to be kind to sometimes, man.
Me?
Cynthia, so what
Why
Paul
is it you
saying
presume you have to be
true.
kind rather than truthful and
All
honorable?
you're saying is true because of your past experience, perhaps, and maybe you even have justification to believe that, you know, a stranger can't care about you more than yourself, but in different context, in different
No.
circumstances, it could be true. But if you assume the worst, guess what? You're going to see and create, you're going to bring out the worst in others.
Now
Can you-
ask her to repeat back what you just said, because I guarantee she wasn't listening. She's too busy fighting in chat.
Jack, I don't know why you allow Paul to do this.
There you go. Deflection
He's-
central.
he's
Point
not.
proven. She's not
Cynthia,
interested in truth and fellowship and
hold on,
conversation.
hold on.
She's
Let's-
interested in power
Paul,
games.
Paul,
No,
please,
I'm not
stay-
interested in power
stay
games.
here and
I'm
now.
allowing.
Cynthia,
Uh-huh.
if you were listening and understanding me, okay, you would you would understand what's going on. But I think Paul was right. Maybe you didn't pay attention. What I'm suggesting to you is there is a responsibility that you have to own. Your beliefs are bringing out some of the worst in others. It's part of you. This is your experience. I'm observing how people are treating you. I'm not defending others, but I'm saying you do have a part in this, okay? And Paul comes from a story. He's got a perspective and an insight that really is kind of, it's confusing. Because some ways he is so dead on, and then in other ways he's just absolutely blind. And you see the blindness, Cynthia. But he's offering a lot of insight to not just you, but to many others. And Paul, I wish you'd learn to listen to your own words. Because in most of your accusations, man, a lot of those you're bringing forth what you're doing.
Is there ever a time when the other person's not the blinded one and you're not correct?
Oh, of course. I'm certain there is. Oh, Teresa
Oh.
was constantly like that with me.
Can I respond, Jack? Again,
Please.
You and I were having a conversation. He jumped into it, and then you were trying to have a conversation with him. You were talking to him. I was not listening when you were speaking to him because you were having the conversation with him.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
number two, again, this goes back to this type of behavior that he just came onto your panel and did is the type of behavior of people I don't want near me in real life, and I don't want.
You just
near me
played a
in
power
meditation.
game again, like I just said
And-
last statement. Because you just brought in the fact that it's his panel. We all know it's his panel, and bringing that up is trying to get me thrown
And
out.
the fact that
You
he's
don't think we
always
know
trying
that?
to cause the chaos, and he's always taking those little things and twisting the narrative, to me shows an insecurity. I'm okay with him being insecure, but I'm not going to allow him to project it onto me. And as far as the people in the chat that don't like me, I have to ask myself, who are those people and who do they follow? They all follow Paul. So, of course, the people that follow Paul aren't going to like me.
That's
They're
called
not
confirmation bias. You just tricked
Well-
yourself out of the
supposed to
learning
like me.
position
Paul,
and the understanding.
hold on, we'll come back to that, please. But
So,
Paul, there is some culpability. You're very persuasive. You're very magnetic. You need to recognize your responsibility. You know, you may not call yourself a leader.
I am
but
Jack
there are
Talcott. That's
others.
why I'm here attempting to do fellowship in a peaceful and caring manner instead of
You know
using my false power to go against people the way they are on their channels. I don't do videos about Cynthia. She has many videos about me on her channel. So she
They're
picks
all
fights
down.
with people who have more power and ability and flying monkeys who don't even react or respond back the way she started acting. So
Well,
please stop
Paul,
acting like I don't use whatever little false power online that I have in an equitable way, because I do better than the ones who are claiming to be the victims.
Paul, your deflection does not change your responsibility or culpability. You want to play this game of plausible deniability.
How much accountability, responsibility do you want me to have for others who take none?
Hey, Paul, I want you to accept responsibility for your part of your life. Nothing.
And I
more.
absolutely have. I have no regrets. I've spoken the truth as I see it.
Okay, but this is the problem, Paul. You've spoken the truth as you see it, but oftentimes, while you claim you're available and open to discussion,
So you're going to make this personal now. You can never achieve objectivity as a supposed life coach or counselor because you always inject your personal feelings into the.
No, Paul, again, you're projecting. So I could use this same thing talking about how you have been belligerent and disrespectful towards Angeline, to my friends, Angeline, Jesse, Cynthia, Flo, all these people who I respect.
I thought we already had a moment.
You've been absolutely disrespectful and refuse no resolve or conversations with. Now, I'm not standing up for their behavior, but I am standing up against the way you're behaving, Paul.
Okay, so that's interesting because I thought we had a moment before where I did nothing but choose to take accountability and said, I appreciate Angeline's responses to me being an asshole and making jokes and saying whatever it is that I perceived and not being reactive to it. So how much more accountability, responsibility would you like me to take for the other people in the room who aren't?
You're one example, you're one exception.
It's never enough. And that's why your wife left you. And that's why the child doesn't want nothing to do with you.
Arguments, it only
it's never enough with you people.
You're looping.
And you can never do enough to satisfy others in your life.
Hey, Paul, let's join the present moment here and now. Okay. If we're present and aware, we can discuss all things. All things are here and now. We are a part of all things. And are you here and now? I am. So here and now, we can discuss the past or the future. We don't have to get all emotional and belligerent with each other, right?
There's two people involved in that equation, at least.
I just don't understand why he attacked
Cynthia,
you like
both,
that.
Both of you, Cynthia, Paul, I'm seeing behavior of both of you being enabled. You're enabling each other's disagreements. Neither of you has been very willing to find resolve or to consider what the other is saying. You're just looping.
I haven't heard anything worthy of considering. I haven't heard one thing that's a valid criticism or critique.
Paul, that is your
All I've heard is a bunch of feelers projected as the need for me to love someone differently.
Paul.
That's all I'm hearing and feeling.
Well, I'm sorry.
I haven't heard one actual concise criticism or critique of what I've done that I need to do better. All I'm hearing is you guys got a bunch of feelers about what I've spoke on that I've seen, and you don't like how it feels, and you're going to be reactive to my presence and to my understanding.
Let's check into here and now, and what I'm going to raise to you, the objection of your behavior here and now. Okay. You got worked up. We feeling defensive, feeling whatever. We can work through this and we can find resolve. Resolve is always available. This is life happening, right? This is life happening, and we can find love in the happening that is now, because it's always now and love is always present. You know what? So let's remember some love. Love
Absolutely.
Authentic, right? And I feel like you guys are being authentic about what you think, what you feel.
So if love is authentic, then why would it call for somebody to have to manufacture it in the moment?
It requires us to simply humble ourselves and become
to the truth. Absolutely. Because you can't actually love others who don't love themselves, who aren't truthful with themselves and others. You will only wind up being drained.
Are you able to love just this moment and without all the, all the
presumption is I'm not in a loving, caring state. I don't know why that presumption is.
Are you able to just be?
Yeah, I'm here to testify that I'm being right now.
Okay. Well, you sound a little uptight. Go ahead, Angeline, please.
Do you feel that?
Previously in our conversations, it was like Cynthia was kind of talking about this new space she was in, and I was kind of thinking about that, and then I was kind of wondering, Paul, like when you started all of this coming online and stuff, what kind of space or place in your life were you in at that time that kind of made you feel like reaching out on the lives and all that?
Well, I was doing the legal lawful thing, and I was doing Zoom classes, for lack of a better word, although I didn't like to consider it that. We were all kind of meeting, and, I would do most of the speaking on what I was doing or what I had learned or observed about conscious and awareness, legal and lawful, and how it all applies. And then when I went to the...
more like private it started then, and then you kind of reached out more publicly, or?
Yeah, I just sort of saw an opportunity to kind of invest back in myself and do a whole bunch of things that I've always kind of wanted to do or enjoyed doing in a venue that kind of lended to that, right? So I've always kind of been into comedy. I've always been into, various things that I've either enjoyed or wanted to take part in. And I figured, well, that's what they call content nowadays. So let's see where it goes, right? I didn't have any expectations. I just wanted to share myself and who and what I am and what I understand and my experience with others who saw value in it.
Kind of found a platform to like let all that out.
Well, yeah,
it's definitely a place to grow, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, anything kind of becomes that, whether you're aware of it or not. There's always tests and challenges and more to kind of discover about self and other versions of self, and then kind of reprioritize. And yeah, it's a practice. Such is life, right?
Yep.
Hey, right on, bro. Sorry to interrupt. Rob G, thank you for the contribution. Please put Paul and Cynthia on full screen and everybody shut up. I'm not going to do that unless it's actually requested by the participants.
Well, I'm in service to the folks who are watching and contributing, so I'll agree to that.
Okay, so I'll get up there and I'll be quiet, and you can do whatever you want to do, Paul. I don't care if it makes Jack happy, if it makes some money, whatever. But Jack, going back, this behavior of an individual who, when they feel threatened or attacked, they start just hurling hurtful insults are behaviors of people that I want nothing to do with. And when I say I want nothing to do with, I don't even want to engage in arguments with you because I'm going to look like an idiot arguing with you. And it's okay. And I know everybody's like, oh, I can't believe you feel that way, Cynthia. You're just
You
doing
had
that.
no problem arguing with a dozen people in chat looking like a fool. Why is it a
But
problem
it's
up here?
okay. It's okay for you not to like everybody. Everybody doesn't have to like everybody. Everybody doesn't.
You're just
always have to get
backpedaling and
along,
showing your
and it's
cowardice again.
okay.
Why are you trying to dress it up as something else other than what it is?
Oh my gosh.
You
I
pick
don't
fights
like
with people where
How
you know
many
you can
times-
win,
how
and
many
then you
different
avoid the
ways do I have to
confrontations
say
where
it?
you
All
know
right,
you're going to
throw it on
lose
big
based
screen.
in truth.
Throw it on big screen.
You're not fooling anyone.
2 minutes, 3 minutes. I don't like you. I don't like you.
You don't have to like me, sweetie. You don't have to like me to get to the
Oh my
truth. Get
God.
over your feelers.
Please. Okay. Hold on for just a moment. We've got someone else joining. Okay.
Hi there.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You're new. Are you?
I am new. I actually was quite enjoying the first part of your live stream, and then I was wondering what I stumbled upon. I kind of felt like I was in the middle school cafeteria again.
You know what, Kay? Welcome.
They'll play right into it.
Okay.
Thank you for
Glad you're
joining.
here, Kay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it was a great stream in the beginning. We were having great conversations, and
We
you have
still
to ask
can-
yourself.
They're uniting now like they always do. They're going to form a megatard like
Please,
Power Rangers.
we can still move on. Okay. And actually, you know what? Here, Paul, I defer to you. You are the broadcaster.
Could you please use the phrase God of all media? I'd really enjoy that in this moment.
Oh, I don't like that.
Come on,
All
Jack.
right.
Check your ego for the broadcast
You
purposes. We're
are-
playing.
In the context of the here and now, you certainly are the
Yeah,
god
yeah.
of all media,
Oh
especially
my
in
God.
comparison
Oh, fuck yes.
to me.
Say it again, Jack. Say it again. I'm going to rub the back of my knee, too.
All right. I know there's something to be said about leaving on a high note and leaving anticipation. However, this is a rare occurrence, and these panels are just friggin' wild cards. What do I do?
And I just say that I appreciate, well, I still appreciate because it hasn't gone bad yet. All right. Like we're showing progress here, slow and steady. So I've spent most of my time up here. I'm doing what I'm doing. I am showing, a little bit of restraint. You'd have to admit that, Jack.
I do.
Not full gorilla right now.
And Cynthia, I hope you might be able to recognize it too.
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
Come on, Cynthia.
I'm not gonna y'all can't make me see.
Let's
something
give
I
her a
don't-
group hug,
where
Jack.
I
Put her
come
in the
from-
middle. It's going
where
to
I
take all
come
6 of
from-
us to hug her completely, but put her in the middle. Oh, hugs, hugs, hugs. There it
Where
is.
I come from, men don't act this way.
Hugs,
I
hugs,
don't
hugs. That's interesting. Where I come from, women don't act this way.
Men don't act.
So I
Little
guess we
boys
can
act
unite
like
over that,
this.
huh?
Little boys act like this.
Come
Men
on,
don't
let's
act
bond,
like this.
Cynthia. Let's bond over the fact that where we're from, the opposite sex doesn't act like this. Come on.
If we were in the lunchroom cafeteria, he'd pull my
If we were in
hair.
the lunchroom, there'd be nothing left to eat. Come on, Cynthia.
One of you will eventually rise above. I have faith.
Yes.
I know you are both capable of rising.
You might have to
above.
give me a blue pill with her for that one, Jack. If you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, what are you?
She's no Angeline. You get me?
What are you talking about?
With
That's
encourage-
insulting to me as a woman
with
to
en-
even think that somebody like that would want to enter my body.
Cynthia,
Like,
I
that's
know.
insulting.
Like you'd go ahead and take the B system fluid into you, but you wouldn't let me in. That makes sense.
Okay.
It's insulting.
Where do I go? Where do
We
I
just
go?
got to shift to the
All right,
higher
let's wrap this
dimensions.
up. Let's end on a high note.
Well, one is
Shift to the higher dimensions.
Love bomb them and shut it down. We love you, brothers and sisters.
that's what I'm wondering. But no, back to you two. One is carrying more sensitivities, and the other has layers of callousness that are just,
Am I
So-
the one that's sensitive or callous? Who am I?
Ooh, you are both.
Okay, and everyone's like,
That's a
you're still
bad
taking it
combo.
personal. If you don't like somebody, you just don't want to be around them. I
Fine,
like
but
you,
Cynthia.
Jack.
Cynthia,
I like
hold
you,
on.
Anthony.
Cynthia,
Uh-huh.
Cynthia, I'm sorry to interrupt, but for the love of, please remember, there's greater forces in play. God brings forth all people, all moments. So right here and now, there's a reason for it. So let's be curious. Let's be like children, open, honest, recognizing, use the mind of the viper, right? Be wary of people who may be not authentic or not fully honest. But what is it? Be harmless as dove or lamb, whatever, trusting that,
Yeah. Wise as a serpent, gentle as a dove.
yeah, thank you. We can help each other understand who we are. And actually it's good to know. Cynthia's got reasons. Look, reasons, and that's actually a reasonable boundary too. If people are going to be real insulting and present patterns of negativity, I don't want my
Jack. Hey Jack, I just think we need to be a little bit more honest because
Yes.
Cynthia's never run anything up on the broadcast other than cholesterol, and you're up at least 30-40 viewers with my presence here today. So for her to say that I bring no value here and she can't see any value in me, well, then she's a detriment to you because I brought you value here today and she can't see it.
Okay,
I don't see value in Paul as a person for me and him. I didn't say value.
Right, we're not on the dating show here, sweetie. It's
guys,
Jack's panel and broadcast, and we're trying to bring value to this damn broadcast. So get a fucking clue.
Hey,
Cracker, don't call me sweetie.
Cynthia, please. I love
He
you
likes,
both.
he likes this.
Please, Cynthia, here's the point.
I'm just good at this. I don't necessarily like it.
Because you're
God
a girl.
brought us together today, right here and now. Okay. And so there's a mystery to life. Don't believe you know more than you know. Because if you can recognize the mystery of life and wonder, despite God knowing that I don't like to be around these people or I don't like to hear these things, why in the hell am I experiencing this?
Hey, Jack, is it true that she just, because I thought I heard it and they're down in chat confirming, did she just call me a white cracker?
Yes.
So we're gonna get racist too, huh?
Yes.
Oh,
If
no.
you call me,
And you're still going to continue to act like you're Mexican and keep talking about white people every day on your community board? You are a low life, huh?
Yes. Yes.
Can we,
As if you're not perceived as a white lady, right? Get a clue, sweetie. Get a mirror. Wake up. You don't even speak Spanish. You're such a dolt.
Hey,
Paul,
quick question.
I know
Are
more
you an
Spanish than you.
Octomon?
Who's the
There's-
cracker?
but
Octomon?
there's no
Black Paul.
Who's the
There's a lot of
cracker?
there's
people
no
that.
there's
Hey, puerco.
there's no race. There's no race in the divine collective.
there you go.
Quiero es un puerco.
Are
Who's the
you-
pig and who's the cracker?
Are you a black person? A lot of people.
I
have
don't
called
need to
you
be
an
black for you to
albino.
masquerade as Mexican and call everyone else crackers and not even know Spanish. Who's the cracker if I know Spanish more fluently than you,
A lot
dummy?
of people have asked if you're a black person. People have called you an.
Of course
Octomon.
they
Is
ask
that-
if I'm black because they think I got big soul and big dick. That's
Please-
the energy I bring.
Big dick.
I'm
You
gonna-
have black
I'm gonna
features in
step
your
away.
face.
Please be kind.
See, they ask you, quiero es un puerco, because you bring big attitude and big stomach, like a pig.
Right. Sure.
You're out of your league, sweetie.
Okay, cracker.
Go back to playing your position as a
I
woman
don't
if you
wanna
ever
play-
knew it or
I
found
don't
it.
wanna play
You
in
ain't one of the
Little
boys. Take the
I don't
football
wanna play
jersey
in the
off and
Little
play
League.
your position.
I don't want to play in the little leagues. Look,
No,
my
you
dog
want to
is
play
living
with
my-
everybody till they play back. Then you want to play the
No,
victim like you're a babe
I-
in the woods. Cut the bullshit.
What bullshit?
Bitches
What
got
babe in
ego
the
too,
woods?
and it's their
What
undoing.
bitches have egos? Are you black?
I don't need to be black to talk that real shit. Why do I gotta be black? Why you bringing race and color into shit?
Because I can. Because I am.
Because you're an
Hey, quick
ignorant,
question.
arrogant, racist
Do
piece of
you
shit.
have-
What else
do
is
you
new?
have
Show
issues
more
with
of your
Jack
dark
because he
qualities.
remind you of
No
your
pun
dad?
intended.
Do you have issues
Show more
with
of your
Jack
dark
because he
side,
reminds you of
sweetie.
your dad?
Show us more about who and what you really are and
Do
what
you
you're here
have
for.
issues with
Drama
Jack
Central.
because he reminds you of
Gossip
your dad?
Central. Ignorant, arrogant, egotistical Central.
And I'm a racist. Go ahead and call me a racist.
Yeah, you have. You've done it many times on panels, bringing up people's fucking race and talking down to people for their color.
And you never
You're
brought
the
it up
lowest piece
until
of
just
shit.
now, right?
You're the
You
lowest
never
common
said
denominator on these panels, and I'm tired of the broken hoes
Yeah,
taking up for other
that's
broken
what
hoes
I
just because you
am.
both got vagina. Get real with
Yeah.
yourselves and each
You
other.
have a vagina too.
Have you
have
guys
a
actually
vagina.
ever had sex in real life? Because this
No,
kind of
we
No,
never
none of us have
talked
ever
on the
had sex in
phone.
real life.
Oh, okay.
Only
Just checking.
you,
He's
sweetheart.
500
You're so
pounds.
attractive, I'm
Nobody
sure.
can
Just
have sex with
checking.
him in real life.
I'm sorry?
He's 500 pounds. Nobody can have
Oh.
sex
Right.
with
She's
him in
going
real
to talk
life.
about weight now. How ironic.
Yeah, I'm not even that
She
big.
tells us
But
all the other day she's 200 pounds.
I'm not 200 pounds. I'm not. Why do y'all say that?
Because you said it.
No,
You act like when you go to other places and say shit when 20 people are watching, they ain't going to clip it and reveal it to everyone else. You're
not
adult.
200 pounds. I wish I would stop.
Well, why don't you do the real content one day? Hop on the scale and
Why
prove
don't
it,
you
like
do
Slow
it
State
too?
and everyone
I
else.
challenge you to a
You
scale
folks talk a whole
You
bunch of
do it
shit, but you
too.
never put up or shut
I'll
up.
do it. Neither do you. You
Bet
put
you
up
won't
or
hop
shut
on
up.
the scale,
Put up
Chubby.
or shut up. You
I'll
can put
hop
up or
on it
shut
with
up.
you.
Put up
You've
or
already
shut
brought up my
up.
criminal
You
record
can
and
do it
mug shots and weight
now.
and height
Put
and the
up or
size of my
shut up.
nutsack.
You
You
can do
brought it all up.
now.
So it's your turn now.
It's okay, because fat boys need love too.
Courtesy of the internet.
We
It's
can
your
get
turn
the
now
bell
because you all
down
want to
the
be
way
here so bad.
need
You want to
it.
expose
It's
everyone
okay.
else but never be exposed. It's amazing.
Okay, let it
Hop
go.
on the truck scale,
I don't
sweetie, so
care
we can see
about
what it reads.
you.
Go down to your local
You
truck stop,
nothing
hop on the
from
scale. Let's see
me.
what the fucking
You're
wide
just a
load
big
reads.
mean guy. You make me lose respect for
See,
people
the problem
in
with
New York.
women in
I
this
think
life
they
is they
fucking
get away
talk
with
way
shit
too
forever and
much.
nobody ever checks their bullshit
Nobody.
ego because they
That's
go, they're
true.
women.
Nobody.
We
You
shouldn't
could
keep it
never
all the way
check
real with
me.
them. Men do it with each other all the time, but we take it easy on the goofy
You could
bitches. And
never
I'm like
check me.
undoing all
You
that.
ain't got it in you,
You
little
know,
boy.
her
to check
ego's
me.
been her
You ain't
greatest
got it
undoing,
in
right?
you.
So
You ain't
somebody's
got
got to
it
check
in
her.
you. You don't have it in you, chubby checker.
All right, Jack, we'll go ahead and wrap this up, huh? Because she's never going to
You don't
choose
tell
peace and
Jack how to run his
reconciliation,
panel,
and
you
she's going to keep
coward.
embarrassing
Why don't
herself,
you
and they're going to keep
go?
laughing at me fucking with her.
Don't tell
Okay,
Jack how to
please,
run his panel.
please.
I ain't telling him how to run shit,
Well,
power
just
hungry
told him to close
slave.
it up. That is telling him.
I'm gonna do this. Thank you. Thank you for your patience, your participation, both of you, all of you here on the panel. Thank you for your patience and your participation. That includes what's up, Cynthia and Paul. Okay, we're just going to take a break, take a breath. I stepped away and I missed some of what was going on, but I've seen the patterns. And here, we'll bring it back to the topic. Today, the topic is life, love, and peace. And we've been seeing some life happening. We've been seeing different variations and different levels of love happening. And so now we can share some peace. Cracker, thank you for the contribution. I'm not canceling anyone, and I appreciate the contribution. It adds to the persuasion, but I'm going to choose what I choose. And why do you allow racism on your panel? Now, this was a question, or this question, I should say, is related to some of the other things I've heard. Why do you allow? Why do I allow others? Well, it's certainly not my intention to share the chaos or the disagreements. It's my intention that we share discussions that are hopefully inspiring, entertaining, and encouraging, because life can be challenging. And Cynthia and Paul, both of you, and Snafu, I've got three very strong characters who I care about in the back. And they all bring something special, something unique, something that life wouldn't be the same without. But in this experience, Cynthia and Paul, guys, we can do better than this. Both of
You're
you.
right, Jack. And in the reconciliation, there was a question asked, and I want to answer it. The channel name is What's Up, Cynthia? And the answer is her cholesterol.
Oh my God.
See, you do have so much humor. You're so.
It's just so elementary and salty that I'm just almost offended.
I love you, sister. I don't know why any of that happened.
Live without fear.
That was
is your
good, huh,
Cash
Jack?
App. Kick me out of here. It's $200. Jack could use it. Cash App him. Live without fear.
No,
I want me out of here, or if you want Paul and I to fight, we will fight. Cash App Jack. I just dropped his Cash App. Hit him up, and I'll get gone. But Jack needs to benefit from it.
Are you okay with her being pathetic like she is everywhere else in life for you on your channel? Begging and shit?
Oh my gosh.
I'm not finding the faults,
What-
man.
no,
I'm having
like,
fun.
Jack, at what point is it do we have to say, okay, they just don't like each other and it's okay?
I don't know. As long as we live together, I don't know why people don't want to get along. I never understood that.
We're
I mean,
moving into the Tao house officially. Oh, this
Huh?
is going to be great. We're all moving into the Tao house. You said we're living
Let's
together
move
now.
into a content creator house, all of us.
There you
Snap.
go. See, Cynthia's so desperate for like fame and fortune. She'll do
Oh,
anything.
yeah,
So
that's
that's
it.
Tao house right there. That's a whole series.
What is
Yep.
sharing a house but sharing space, right? Sharing space with another. And each day we're sharing the same day. Each day we're here together. It's only
So
our
I guess if me and Cynthia are there, that rules out a tiny house, huh, Jack?
If this was my house, I'd probably be going out a lot.
living out in the bars. All right.
Don't let Jesse hear that.
Well, actually, there's many homes who are like this. And this is what I realized. My house, it was so filled with chaos. It was so filled with tension, walking around on eggshells all the time, trying to be perfect and never being good enough. And so that was the world I was raised in. And then I realized, holy shit, the whole world's like this, man. There's a lot of people walking around on eggshells trying to be perfect and showing that they're not. and yet what I realized is that in some form or fashion, we're all in this together, this human experience. And it can be scary, and it can be lonely, and it can be hard, and it can be painful. But life, man, life is where it's at, dude.
You realize all those qualities are basically just describing a rape, right?
In
I
some
don't know if that's exactly how it should be.
Well, what if life is, life is a sin, as they say. Life is a rape on our spirit. A spirit is that, violation. It's that imposition. Life might be an imposition on our spirit, but that shouldn't hold us back.
Wait, are y'all what? Y'all not comparing that to Greg Bar, y'all. Don't say that, please. Please don't say that.
Stretch. It was an absolute stretch. Yes.
Please don't say that.
I understand. That is an ugly, ugly topic that unfortunately is more real than I used to realize. As a young man, I didn't realize how many women have experienced violations when they're younger or at all ages.
All ages. And then when people come on the panel and say, I'm going to metaversally do that to you, and the people have been real victims of that, that can be traumatizing. Earlier when Angeline was talking about sometimes we have that fear, that emotional fear of when we were back in 3 or 4, that's something else that can bring in emotional fear. And those are things that when people have a platform and they use that platform to attack people that way, in my mind, that's just a malice person that I don't want to be near.
Yeah, but that's a victim state of consciousness. The world is not responsible for your triggers. Don't go to those places and if you can't handle life.
I'm not triggered by that.
Can I just finish what I'm saying? I didn't interrupt you.
Okay, go ahead.
please.
So don't go to those places and subject yourself to something you can't handle instead of blaming someone for what you can't handle.
Okay, let's be clear. I'm not triggered by them, but I don't like seeing other women triggered by it. And if people bring
Yes.
it to you and you still
What you
choose
like
to
and
do
don't
it,
like doesn't matter in this creation. Haven't you learned that
Please
yet?
let me finish. Please let me finish. And if you know that bothers you and you put your foot down harder on that subject matter, I question the intentions of your heart. You have a malice heart.
And I answer the intentions of that stimulation because no actual harm is being done to you. And if a woman who's been violated can achieve a neutral space with
But
any
that's
speaking,
not for you to handle.
hello? Is there an echo in here?
You're not
Are we
a
inside
therapist.
Cynthia's vagina? I think I hear an echo. Is she speaking?
Please.
You're not a therapist
Here.
to say that.
I don't need to be a therapist to observe
you guys-
a dynamic that's
hold
present
on.
in me, that has worked for me, that has worked for others in my life who've walked the path with me.
Right. Now, please, both. Shoot. God dang it. The chaos. There was something said that you both are sharing. Oh, you're both right. Okay. You're both right. And yet you're both on similar pages, just different. There is something to be said about being more sensitive to others. And that's where Cynthia is right. Now, the other
What is
side,
that something to be said? Can we clarify that once and for all?
okay, the something to be said is there's something good to be said. Forgive me for my sloppiness with words. There's something good to be said about having sensitivity and compassion.
No,
for
what is that
feeling
good thing to be said? I know
Well-
you just gave me a sentiment and a feeling. I want the actual logical clarification for what's good about that.
Peace. Peace is a good result, typically. So, and then the other side is what Paul's saying is that words, people's triggers. How the fuck are you supposed to know what someone was going to trigger someone? I mean,
Right.
people find triggers we are all on our own unique experience.
We're really not. I know exactly what's going to trigger other people, and that's why I do it, to trigger the same part of them that's triggered me, to reveal the neutrality of it.
Okay.
That's
so
self-mastery.
Right. Okay, then let's swing back because you're right, Paul.
You don't think people have been calling me a
good?
fat slob my whole life?
Paul, okay. Paul, what is the good from being more sensitive to the triggers of others? I know the bad. The bad is enabling. It's allowing ignorance to just stay there. So, but there is a good side to being more sensitive, or at least for the moment. You've got to recognize that.
If someone comes up and says to you, hey, what you said really offended me, and then the next day you go on your platform and you go harder at it, again, it's one thing if it happened the one time and you didn't know and you were like, oh, and the person, I'm not speaking about anybody on this panel, I'm speaking in general.
If I took what you just put forth, I'd never.
Hang on. If I say something that offends somebody and they tell me the first time and I correct it, that's good.
Yeah, you're going to correct my behavior with your offenses.
I wasn't finished. If I say something, if they say something to me and the next day I do it and I make jokes about it, I have to ask, where's my heart? That's a malice heart.
I've never once seen you come on anywhere and appeal to anybody's good sense and good nature. You come on rabble rousing, you come on gossiping and drama starting, you come on starting fights with people in chat and blocking. You've never once come on and asked for forgiveness or asked for mercy or asked for anything else that you didn't extend. So stop the hypocrisy. Furthermore, I'll be quick. I try to speak quick so that I don't take up too much time because I know I'm long-winded at times. Furthermore, you simply being offended by something someone's doing or saying is not enough causality for that person to change what they're doing. They may be doing it on purpose to elicit that response to make you aware of something about yourself, which oftentimes is what happens.
Yeah.
Who do you think that I need to ask for forgiveness
Cynthia,
for?
please, Cynthia. I'm not hypothetical.
Jack, real quick, could I just add on one more thing, please?
Yeah.
Also, you have to be obviously aware of the fact that if I took your suggestion and operated that way, I wouldn't be able to say or do or talk about anything, because nowadays everyone gets offended about something. So they'd say, don't talk about rape, don't talk about abortion, don't talk spirituality, don't talk Jeebus, don't talk gay, I couldn't talk about anything or do anything because someone somewhere would be offended and ask me to stop because they can't deal with life on life's terms.
You were pointing out a particular person, and you were saying their name.
Hey, Cynthia, please.
Right. Is it a true statement or not? That's all you have to ask yourself.
Right, Paul, please. You're both right again. And Cynthia, Paul's heart is not malice. I can't, we can't know clearly what's inside someone, but there's more than enough evidence for me to trust that behind Paul is not malice. It's not malintended. He's not trying to hurt people, but he certainly does have a pattern, and he's found within himself that part of his life is bringing forth the weakness, showing the people the weakness that they're showing.
Well, I'll even add on more to the other side just to give
Talk, Paul.
What do you mean let you talk? He just said something about me and I'm answering to it. How am I not letting you talk?
Paul, just take the stage, buddy. Just go on.
I was kind of speaking. I was trying to speak on your behalf too.
I know you were, and I'm giving a little bit more credit to the other side. I'm giving a little more credit to the other side of the argument that have no problem being forthcoming or even aggressive with the truth, because I became aware long ago that the truth will hurt. So while I do not try to hurt anyone, I have no problem with folks being hurt by me speaking the truth that I see or experience, because I know it's going to happen anyway.
Paul, this is where I do understand. You're tough. You're one of the toughest fucking guys, at least conceptually, mentally, what you stand for and your strength. You're one of the toughest guys I think I've met. That came because the world was tough. From your experience, your life was tough, and it probably didn't show a lot of mercy. Now, there's something to be said about softening a bit. All right. It's challenging, and I don't know. I just know that I know that fighting you with anger, it's not the way.
Yeah, there is no fight going on here. There's a disconnect and a misunderstanding based on miscommunication. And oftentimes that happens with me and others when they're miscommunicating with themselves. There's something going on inside the being that's unreconciled, they can't handle or deal with, and they want to continue to cycle with me because they're unresolved. If what I'm saying is not true and I've had no impact on you or any value, then why would you have so much emotion invested in me and what I have to do and say?
Paul, there's something magical and divine to the way life brings us forth. And for whatever way, there is something happening, not just on this panel, not just on this stream, in the YouTube community we're a part of, in the greater world of today.
Yeah, it's called mental illness, Jack. I don't want to break it to you. You said something bigger, and it seems to be bigger. It's got a lot of power over folks.
Paul, that mental illness is exactly what I want to shine the light on in the world. The world is fucking nuts. Here, the world
is a reflection of self, Jack. Let's not forget that. So when you say the world is nuts, you're indirectly saying you're nuts as well.
I'm nuts because I used to believe in the world. Now I know there is better.
You're nuts because you think you can change a world that's always been nuts.
No. I think people are nuts to believe that the world will not change in the way that we want. And so the world has been the world. The people I've encountered in my small little experience so far, a lot of them have been resistant to wanting to believe. And it's been puzzling, but here's where I'm at, man. Praise God.
Good game, God.
Mark Zuckerberg. I appreciate
I'm
the
not offended by
contributions,
anybody's speech
but
and
yeah.
what they're saying. I'm
No,
only
not at all,
hearing
Cynthia. You're perfectly
Bro.
fine. We don't see that at all.
Oh, like all
Sometimes
all of these things that he does just is malice. It's just malicious.
well, it's not.
I
don't
know.
believe that.
You're not bothered by it, but it's hurtful, but
Wait.
it's not hurtful, but I'm malicious, but I'm not. I know.
If it's malicious, what do you believe what's the goal?
Dude, I
Just
was coming up here to
see-
have a good conversation with you and Angeline
I
and
know.
Yeah, you've been
Slomo.
trying that for
And we
months.
were-
It hasn't
Oh
happened
my
yet,
God,
so
I can't even finish.
maybe you're
He's
confused.
a child. And y'all want me to get
No.
along, or you want me to take advice from him, or you want
No.
me to ever
Well-
think that he could ever
Yeah,
tell
Jack,
me
you
that
handle this. Imagine disagreements and ego again. Hey, take over, please.
Like, you want me to think that this man could ever tell me about my life, could tell me how to get right, when all he does is do this for fun? He does
Cynthia?
this for sport.
Cynthia,
Like, dude, it's okay for me not to like him.
Cynthia, I honor that. You're right. But if given the choice to not like someone or to like someone, in
Mhm.
other words, God brings forth different people at different times in our life. We, like especially at jobs or in families, you don't really get to choose who's around you. But
Right.
we don't have to be resentful. And our likes and dislikes, if we're honest, they change. They change based on situations and reasons. And if you can find a reason within yourself, you can do anything. You really can. And it's my belief that part of Paul's role, my role as well, and maybe it's each of yours too, because we're all different aspects of the one. We're here to kind of reflect back to each other. What is real? What is true about ourselves? What are we showing? The problem is the world kind of wants to reject what's real. It's crazy.
Right. She's rejecting what's real. Like, I'm the fat mirror of her. And she gets triggered thinking I'm being malicious and hurtful for being truthful.
Right.
I am an obese mirror of you.
And you
Accept
are
that.
insensitive
How are
sometimes,
you?
Paul. Or maybe you do. Maybe you are sent. Maybe you do have the feelings, but you push past them. And brother, it's not healthy.
Hi, Steve.
I disagree, Jack. There's so
Howdy,
much
howdy,
empowerment
howdy.
and freedom.
There's so much.
Big is beautiful, Jack.
Hey, sometimes, well,
Is
there's
that Paul?
there's perfection to all things. No, that's not Paul.
Oh,
Just the old man woman fight, you know.
That's crazy. Oh, it's a man woman fight.
Well, I was just watching the show and I'm like, if I mute the panel and just watch this video, it works out pretty well,
Yeah, you're doing the whole simping thing again, where a beta male can never check a beta bitch in her ego. But that's not how pimping goes, right? Proper instruction motivates people. We're about the truth, not about a goofy bitch's feelers. We don't placate that.
We have
So
to go
I didn't
back
punch
to
her in the
key
face.
word,
I didn't
right?
put hands on her.
Key
I
word
didn't
was
threaten her.
proper.
I just attacked her ideas and her way of beingness.
Oh, I could care less what you say about her, but you get keyword is proper.
Yeah, I know.
You
We
have to
know
do it-
how
you have to
you
do it
live in your
properly.
household and your life, and we know how you're doing subliminal attacks right now because that's what beta bitches do.
Well, this is what we're watching. This is what you're putting out there.
That's
for
what we're
everybody.
watching. No, that's not what we're watching. You missed the point again
Exactly.
because you're
Exactly.
kind of slow on the uptake.
I mean, my wife and I were still married,
just-
so
I
you gotta
know
say
that's
about
got to
that
be
there,
proof of
Paul.
success. You guys are still with each other. You have so
Yeah.
many other options, of course.
yeah.
I just want to drop a quick gem, and then I'm gonna get out of here. We just need to all ascend and be one with the divine,
Right.
and find our love, peace, and happiness in the reflections of each other. Much love, everybody. I'm gonna head out. Thank you so much, Jack and panel, for having me. God bless.
Hey, Slomo, thank you.
Bye,
Please,
Slomo. Hopefully we get to talk one time.
yes,
Definitely, definitely.
welcome to return. And the chaos varies at times and on days. It's kind of a variety sometimes of who joins and where the energies go. But
I completely understand that, brother.
Hi,
All
Angeline.
right, y'all have a good one.
I'm
right.
big and beautiful.
Yes.
Right. And Jesse does Lamaze. You've seen him spinning
Hi,
at a
Jess.
local venue.
Hi, everybody.
What's going on, Jesse?
Are we
I
having
love
fun
how the
yet?
guy in Steve's clip is like 500 pounds too. Like that wasn't another subliminal, right? The guy who happens to be beating up a woman is morbidly obese. That's just a coincidence.
All I did was search with fat people fights, and this was the first video
There
that came
you
up.
go. You know, you're very
Fits the
clever. You
narrative
should
pretty well.
produce for me, right? With a clever mind like that, I could use that.
Paul, that's what I'm saying. You got to recognize what's being shown. And Steve does have some broadcasting stuff. Actually, Cynthia does.
He does. It's just nobody will show up to watch him on his channel. And that's why I want him to work with me.
Right. Cooperation would be way greater content could emerge through cooperation and collaboration other than just, random controversy for content.
Yes and no. Yes and no, right? If it's authentic and organic, triggered based, trigonometry content, like that leads to something if we let it be. But we don't need to manufacture that, right? These folks all got a bunch of issues and feelers about me. That's authentic and genuine, right? So it would be disingenuous to not address the elephant in the room. No, not Cynthia. The issues they have about me.
I saw that coming. That was how basic you are. I saw that insult coming.
Well, it was pretty obvious, but
I see diabetes coming for you. I'm something like a soothsayer. I can predict futures.
No,
Steve loaded it up. Hey,
I'm sorry, that was below the belt. Oh, your stomach, I mean. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, thank you. Cynthia, please. The other side, though, too, is I mentioned he's tough, right? Doesn't mean he's not worthy of mercy. Doesn't mean he's not worthy of compassion.
Have mercy on me. I'm a pathetic, lowly cretin. Love me. Forgive me. There's mercy on me.
I don't see value in it.
But why?
That's okay. And that's
a shame.
I feel that way.
And
it's not, and I'm not feeling. I didn't sit here and just be like, you know what? I don't like him, and I'm plotting his demise.
Right?
I just said I don't see value. I don't see value in a lot of things.
How about yet? At least allow that little door into your mind. You've not seen the value yet. Is that possible?
Okay, we can go. I'll meet you halfway. But I haven't. And I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm not.
Cynthia,
and because I don't see value doesn't mean that other people may not see it.
Right.
No, it just means you're blind, right? You have the right to be blind in this life and to ignore all the facts and evidence.
And I know my boundaries, and I know what I work with, and I know what I don't work well with.
Yes,
everything I don't work well with.
So far up till now, everything you are absolutely right. Okay. But sometimes things are not always as they seem, and sometimes things change. Both things can be true, but if we're so convinced and convicted that what has been, what we saw in the past is just going to repeat, that's exactly what we're going to create.
He's doing it now.
Yeah, but you were doing it now.
He was quiet when you
see.
No, I wasn't talking.
Even Jack said I was quiet. I wasn't doing it just then. I did it before because you were doing it. You did it first, Jack. She did it first.
I know
Steve hasn't done anything, and he went on Steve and his wife. Like he just does that, and he does it for fun. I have to question.
What do you do this for? Because you hate it? Are you that fucked up and bizarre?
Insult people for fun.
Yeah.
Well, not at all. Like there's only a dozen people in chat who report a different story. Were you lying again?
It's for content as well, and you know that. It's not just
right, and she's discontent, and that's why it bothers her so much. She loves to be part of the content till she becomes the content, and then she's discontent.
Well,
Am I
that's the
in
key
the
word. It's you. If you let it bother you, then you let it bother you. If just don't let it bother you. It's simple.
Ding, ding, ding. Steve with
It's
the
not
winning answer.
bothering me. It's bothering y'all that I don't like him. It's bothering
It's
y'all that
bothering
I
you.
think
It's obvious it is.
valid.
Me.
Why are you lying to yourself and everyone else?
Because
You were
y'all keep
crying
saying,
on
you
Bex's
know,
channel.
Jack just made
You
me
were
say
whining and
yes
crying on
when I
Bex's
said I
channel
don't
about how
see
no one
value
loves
in
you and
you.
understands you.
When I
Why are
don't
you
say I
lying to
don't
us?
see value
So
in you,
grateful.
people are trying to be like, you have to say yet.
You don't have to be one of the boys. Even the
Don't
boys have to be
value in
vulnerable
you.
sometimes as well. So just
Yeah.
cut the false strength egoic bullshit. You don't like it. You can't match with it.
What
It's
is
not a
your
woman's position
definition of
anyway.
not? What is your definition of not being one of the boys? What does that look like in us standing up for ourselves or defending ourselves and not looking like one of the boys?
I tried to extend some level of equanimity by pointing out what she does that you don't do, Angeline. So I don't know what you do away from here, but I've never seen you on here engage in any of the behavior activities she does. And I would define one as more feminine and one as more masculine.
I would leave, but some of healing is also finding our voice. So, I mean, it's going to look different at different stages.
That's very true.
Right. At the belligerent, rebellious stage where you got issues with your daddy, it looks like what she's doing. When you found some place of peace, love,
Why
and
does
care and
he say
reconciliation,
that?
it may
I
look.
don't have issues with my dad. I talk to my
You
dad.
kind of do,
doesn't come
though.
on.
That's the thing.
My
And
dad
I'm
has
doing
never
the
been
play
on
a
Jack's
therapist on
platform
YouTube
and
thing
talking
again. So
down
feel
on
free
me.
to just ignore that if it doesn't
Anybody
apply.
has
But you
issues
piped up
with
and got
his
real
dad,
animated. So I'm guessing it
do.
does. That's
I
usually
share
how that
autism.
works.
I have 2 dads, and I
But
talk
you
to
might
both
Well,
of them
there you
regularly.
go.
you might
I
be
have 2 daddies.
projecting,
Well, I
Paul.
think we've uncovered something here.
See, and the
Paul.
She's
fact
got
that
no
you
feminine
think that they're
influences in her
gay
life.
lets me know
Paul.
you
That's why
don't
she
have a
acts
good
like her 2
relationship with
daddies.
your dad. I have a
Could
dad
be,
and
She
a
needs a
stepdad
mama.
who
I thought
raised
she
me.
needed a daddy. She needs a mama. Angeline, help her
I
out,
have a
please.
mom
Jennifer, what are
too.
you doing in
I
about
talk to my
45
mom
minutes?
3 times a week.
She's got to eat first, I suspect. But
That's what I'm
we
like.
can have
I
a
don't
conversation.
understand. Like when he says you have daddy issues, I've never talked about my daddy
Right.
issues. I've never had issues. My dad has
Yeah,
never come on
Paul,
your
I think
platform
that
and
is a
talked bad about me.
projection.
So why would? But
No,
does
she
he have
constantly
daddy
rebels
issues?
against strong
And he's
masculine energy and
projecting
figures
onto
while
me?
mirroring the same thing, and it's not her
And
position.
then
She's not
he's
here to
using
compete
the
with men
extra loud
and to
voice
insult men.
I
to keep
know, I
adding it.
She's
disagree.
not here to humiliate and ban men in the chat and then pretend to be a victim on panel. That's bullshit
Why would I say
narcissistic
I was a
behavior.
victim? If
He
they
likes
can
to
dig
play
it,
all
they can
sides of the
dig it.
dynamic for whatever's
If they
convenient in the
can dig it,
moment.
they can take
You're
it. Just
both
like if I
being
can take it, I can take it.
narrow-minded. Both of you, you're both being narrow-minded.
Okay, Jack. I'm going to check out soon here because it's just, again, it's Luke Rudkowski Central. Head truther in charge. I stole that from Steve.
What's the topic here today, Jack?
The same topic it always is, mental and emotional illness, directly or indirectly.
No, no.
Midget
Bye.
fighting.
You
We
guys.
are overcoming those things. We are breaking through the past, and the goal is for us. We're going to learn how to communicate with each other. We're going to learn how to understand ourselves and each other. And we're going to overcome this together because this is God's way, man. Whatever the world comes forth, whatever the day brings, guess what? That's the world we are living in. What are we going to do? I'd love for us to find peace. That's the topic. And yes, I'm looping on that, Paul. The topic, life, love, and peace. Because it's here for us all.
Right. Every day, that's the topic. And then the real topic emerges, the mandala they tell you to go meditate on, the wheel within the wheel. So while we go to try to search for that topic, we wind up embodying the wheel within the wheel, right?
It really is.
How do we find peace when some of the participants don't want that peace?
That's the question of truth. I mean, and that's what I consider God's perspective. What does God do when, we don't want to accept what is good for us? Peace. Peace is good for us. And so how do you convince others to accept what is good for them? I don't know. It's everyone's on their own path, and it's all by God's grace. Each day, this is where I'm at. Honestly, it seems the easiest and most obvious way. We become humble, right? Stop worrying so much about our egos and our opinions. So what? We got an opinion. So what? Now what? Okay, well, if my opinion doesn't make me happy, is it serving me? Is my opinion serving others? Is it true? That's the key. Humble ourselves to what is true. And the only thing we know to be true is the here and now.
So we keep opening up a space, allowing communication to happen in hopes that we can find peace amongst each other so the world around us can respond in kind.
That's beautiful. Yes. Creating the space, realizing I had the space within myself for peace and contentment, recognizing that I could be peaceful and content despite all the happenings in the world and around. If I can find peace and fulfillment, contentment in just being, well, then there's got to be ways I can share that, right? And then I realized this is what God allowed to happen for me as I went through an awakening. Many people are going through their awakenings, different ways. Each of us have been on our own life path, and we each have different levels of awareness, different foundations of learning, experience. And we don't know what we don't know. I found a way to learn a lot at one point. I keep learning.
Well, what Jesse said, Jack, right? What are we going to do? What are we going to do to build a new path? Like you said, it's plowing over all the bullshit and starting something new. You got the same shit going on and on and on. Well, if you don't fucking change anything, then nothing fucking changes, right?
The definition of crazy.
Yes and no. If because every new moment is new. And no man, the old adage, no man steps into the same river twice, because the river's changed and the man has changed. Each day, every one of us can transform. I know this for a fact. I experienced an immediate transformation in myself, and then it's taken the past several years to understand it and to grow on that. But I've also been to several events where people have experienced emotional transformation just like that. Why? Through the power of truth, by gaining in their understandings, learning more about themselves and what is real, learning more about the spiritual nature of who they are. I know for a fact people have experienced miracles because I've been through them myself. I don't have the miracles to point to, but I know they happen. I know life itself is a miracle. And that together, if we can find ways, starting in the here and now, from the where and when we are, if we can find within ourselves the peace of life, and if we can find that love within ourselves, the desire, that's what love is, the desire to share that peace with others, man, we'll change this whole world. I think that's what God is doing. It's when it was pointed out, I misspoke the other day about we want to stop allowing God to work through us. We want to stop preventing. We want to stop being the limits on the good that is available with us. And what is good? What is good feels good. That's what God, there's a true goodness within us that rewards us when we do good. And that's our guidance system. The good and bad feelings, they're there for us to learn from. Our feelings are the ancient wisdom, the ancient memories that the Bible talks about. When you come to a crossroad, you seek the ancient memories, the ancient wisdom. Those are found within us. Our feelings, our intuition, our guidance system, it's within us. When we are present. And getting caught up in this world of make-believe, man, of all this authority and all this crap, we've lost sight collectively. But I'm pretty sure, like I said, that question, what do? We take these ideas of peace and we build upon them. We share them. We encourage others to believe that a better world is coming forth. How is it coming forth? It's coming forth through us together.
But that's why I say, Jack, I see you shine so many times when you remain objective. And this is the same thing I see in myself. Because again, all criticism and all sort of redemption, self is self. But when you remain objective, you're able to point out one-on-one where the work is done, where the person is falling short and being egoic in quotes versus pursuing a higher truth. And that's what I don't understand about that juxtaposition and how you feel versus what your purpose seems to be the same as mine. You should welcome the chaos and controversy because you know within that is going to come your value and purpose and time to shine, which is to mediate and talk to the individuals and try to look into yourself and find out what's true about them that's also true about you and speak to that. That's where the world changes one person at a time through these back and forth chaos, controversy laden exchanges. And then we come to a centric point where there is a bridge for understanding through functional communication and acceptance of what is, right? Life on life's terms, whether we like it or not.
Did you take an edible today, Jack?
No.
You seem very happy. You seem very happy today.
Very smiley.
Yeah.
I am. I mentioned it. I did take a couple days off from cannabis, and today I did have some, and so I am a little bit elevated in that way. But the true high, I'm telling you, is through.
Just go ahead and say it. It's fucking love, man.
It is. It's love. It's love of life. I'm growing into this. I am growing in this idea and the exuberance, the feelings. A love of life is what I have chosen. I didn't believe it was possible not that long ago. And yet, the world has proven to me things are not always as they seem. I discovered better was available for myself, and now I keep growing in what I believe is possible in better and better ways, and I'm experiencing better for myself, with myself. And Paul, what you said, there's a reason you and I came together.
Yes. You're smiling. It's to destroy my career, isn't it? That's why you're smiling. You've done a great job, Jack.
It may be to destroy the old career, but God only knows what yet's to come.
You're going to make me open a camp where we put people on hot coals, aren't you? And giggle at them as they ascend in quotes.
Dude, and they'll pay us for that shit. Yes.
Jack, hold on. Don't reveal that. Your mic was on. I got to talk to this guy. You see, Jennifer, what he does? I bait him in and he just reveals the whole plan to everybody.
No. Knowledge. Hey, the world we're going to create, and this is what I see happening. I don't know how it's going to happen, truly, but
I do. For $4.99 a month for everyone watching right now, we're going to change their life and bring some coals with you, okay? I don't want to have to invest in that shit. You got to bring your own coals to this party.
Bring your own coals.
BYOC.
No, the world of the future, it's where I'm focused on. And I see us all being a big part of this somehow. Well, I see myself being a big part of it, and I'm a part of this. You are. We are.
Don't keep reminding me.
Yep, we are right now. Where was I going? Oh, in the future, people are going to really value wisdom. And we have been collecting wisdom. You know how many people Jesse's been interviewing, all these different perspectives and all the shit he's been learning? And Paul, you've got such a gift of intuition and your studies, wherever it was you picked up. we've all, and Cynthia,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was
Nobody
just
can clear
telling
a dinner
Jesse,
table like her, huh,
I was
Jack?
just talking to
We all
Jesse.
have things we're good at.
I was just big up in Jesse last night and encouraged somebody to stick to it. And I told the story of how Jesse started off just emailing people, and now he's booked up for weeks in advance, and just how he stuck to it.
2.5 months in advance. We're actually booking April right now.
I said 7 weeks, so I was close. Okay, next time I know to up it. It's 12 now. It's 12 now, Jesse.
it's inspiring, isn't it?
It is, and it was a story that I was able to pull because Jesse
Yep.
shared it, and I was able to use it to encourage another content creator who asked for your links, and I gave them to him, and I told him how you to go on the one stream but stream to other links.
Yeah, we go live on 6 different platforms at the same time, and then we upload to 3, and then the Dollar Vigilante TV, they picked up our show as well.
Very cool. I don't know much about this broadcasting stuff. I think that's pretty obvious and apparent by now.
Don't say that, Jack. You're rather natural.
Well, thank you. I'm growing and learning, but I've had some beautiful influences too.
Well, thank you for
People inspire.
complimenting me.
What I could see in the near future, actually having a team working on this as a profession and business, as a purpose, right? The online part is just part of it. The other part are behind the scenes where we're organizing and motivating others and building communities all around.
I just got a content creator update for Rumble. They just allowed StreamYard to connect directly to Rumble, so I don't have to do it separately, and the comments may start popping up now as the other platforms do. They recently added Twitter comments, so those are popping up now, and now I guess Rumble comments, I'm assuming it'll be the first time. I just did that today, so that'll be nice to not have to, if their comments or people not to be able to be part of the chat, on the stream.
That's pretty cool, man. I didn't know that. I've heard decent things about Rumble and BitChute. I don't think we get too controversial in what I've been doing, what the conversations we have. We kind of push it a little bit here for the YouTube stuff, but I see this as a tool. This is an amazing tool and a resource. The social media, the opportunities we have through this. Life is bringing us a lot of opportunities. It's just a matter of, I don't know, getting the attention of the right people, get the right people motivated and involved. Dude, we could be global, like in big ways. That's what I'm counting on, honestly. You in for that, Paul?
Yeah, I'm in this no matter what, Jack. You couldn't tell that already. I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
So, gas up the private jet, huh?
That time is coming soon.
You think Antoine's going to let us borrow it?
Would we let him borrow ours?
No, would he let us borrow his private jet? I mean, that's the only way we're going to get one, right?
Yeah, you know what? Fuck yes. We'll let him do the ownership thing and the maintenance and all that shit. Hell yeah.
Jack gets it. For a guy who's not like about fascism and corporatism, you sure do get it. Let everyone else take the responsibility and ownership and just kind of use for benefits and privileges. All right, we're going places.
So I see a comment there from Nub saying that I advocate for people to get on heroin and die. You should probably correct the record on that. I never said that to you, Paul. I've never wished you to die, never wished you to got back on heroin. So that's something that you have perpetuated, which is an actual lie.
Well, I may have accentuated it, but there was a comment made that I remember at one point about my heroin addiction, me being nothing more than a heroin addict. And
No, never
on and
said that,
on.
but- No, I never
Well,
said that.
again,
But
you
should
could say
correct the
that you never
record,
said it. I mean,
but
I have
bring
no
up the-
reason
bring up
to.
the proof, though. You can bring up the proof. Otherwise, you should.
Okay,
correct the
making
record
me have
because-
to go bring up proof from thousands of hours of broadcast to try to say that I have a false memory what happened. You realize there was about 1,000 other people there who were there when it happened, right?
Yeah, I didn't say that. So I don't wish death. upon
Okay,
the
so
parasites
again,
that are doing
I'm
this, but-
telling you, do I remember you specifically saying that you wanted me to die? No, I don't necessarily remember that, but that was kind of the intimation that I got from it. Like, he's nothing but a heroin addict and he should just, X, Y, Z. I mean, again, I'm not going to make a claim beyond doing kind of the bit non-bit. But the reason that started was because we were all there when it came up and you kind of showed a different side of yourself that we don't normally see. And again, that's okay. Like Jesse Howe doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be all love and light and cupcakes. Sometimes I run my mouth and say shit that's triggering and you tell me I'm a fat fuck and a heroin addict. Whatever.
Actually, I
Except
didn't
that
say that, though, but
happen.
yeah. we
Okay,
actually went-
it
we
didn't
went
happen. We're going to
by line, but
gaslight me, the 1,000
No,
other people
I'm
too
just
who
saying,
say they
it's
remember it
wrong.
happening.
It's-
Okay.
It's whatever it was.
So
we
I'm
went
doing a
back and
cult.
watched
I
it.
misremembered and I made everyone else accept a memory that none of us had, right? Okay.
We
If
went
that's what we're
back
going to
and
run
watched
with on the
all of
narrative.
footage. We went back and watched it all because you were making those claims, and those claims are false. Those are
Okay.
actual lies that you were making. So whatever it is that you've
So
twisted.
you've
people's
never said
heads
anything
thinking that-
untoward toward me, right? That's your claim. You've never said anything
No,
quote
I
unquote
called you a
negative.
junkie, but it's a meta junkie. I meant a meta junkie. I never said a
Okay, so
heroin
now
junkie.
we're doing the whole what you meant. So now when I asked you if you
No, it's
ever
what
said
he
any,
said.
why are
Not
you
what
being
he
his
meant.
lawyer, Angeline? Why?
We
He can
have
handle it.
Thursday, so
Why are you
we can
lawyering for
actually
him?
fix it if
This
you
is
would
what the
like.
codependent couples always do. Start lawyering for each other. He's a man. He can speak for himself. He just said he never made the comment. Then when I asked him if he ever said anything to me, he admitted he made the comment and then tried to tell us what he meant to say. So he did call me a junkie. He didn't mean a meta junkie. He was talking about my heroin usage because I was on his platform and spoke about it. So cut the bullshit trying to reinvent your image and curate how you're seen and received here. It's not going to go well for you. You should have just left it where it was at. We were having a fine moment and moving on.
But you still lied.
I didn't lie. You just admitted I didn't lie. You called me
Yeah,
a junkie and then tried to tell us what you meant. And then your woman there who will bullshit for you tried to lawyer with you.
Monkey. I did not say I wished you to die and wished you to get back on heroin, which you lied to everybody about.
And I already said, I believe I added on the part about you saying I should die. The intimation was I was a worthless junkie. That's what you said. And you're not going to curate it now, what you said, because you don't like how you were received when everyone saw all of you. We saw all of you, and you don't like that.
Never said worthless junkie.
Oh my gosh. Tell you what, guys, there's something here, all right? Something to resolve or something to let go of, something to learn from. Maybe that's the most obvious, something to learn from. When we speak on these platforms, I know there's people, especially in this day and age, people are so quick to take something and run with it. And, our perceptions are not always accurate.
There's about 10 people down there right now who aren't even on good terms with me who say they remember it all. Are they all lying and misremembering it?
They're
Why
saying
is he
they
upset
remember
by
him
someone said
being
something, but you don't want people
We have
to
a
get
third
upset
lawyer
with
at the
the
court.
same
Who's
stuff?
that? Will you please swear in? Can we get that person's record?
Can we end
This
this
is a double
trial?
standard he's having.
Can we end the trial? I mean,
They're going to
let's
unite and
stop
form a
waiting.
megatard like Power Rangers.
Paul, here,
Okay,
I don't
hang
know
on,
if
Jack,
he
hang on,
was
Jack, hang on,
lying
Jack.
or exaggerating. He's obviously taken something and distorted it.
Yeah, I already said that. I was completely clear about it. I expounded upon something that he said and gave the intimation and the sentiment as I perceived it. But to say it never happened is like doing even worse, right? To claim, to ask me if I expounded upon it, me to cop to that, and him claim it never happened when we all witnessed it, that's like extreme, like sociopathy, psychopathy, right? And this is what these folks all do.
Is not.
So I'd like to correct the record. So I never wish death upon you.
Don't correct the record. Correct your behavior.
And I never ever want you to get back onto heroin. Okay, so that's not me. That's not what I wish upon you. I'm
Sure.
glad that you're free and clear from that, and that makes me happy that you're being a better person. So that's
And I believe
nothing.
that. I believe that at your truest core, what I've seen from you is just like myself and pretty much all of us here. You want to do good, or you are doing good, and you're a loving and caring man. But to, again, deny the dark aspects of self that express at times is, I think, a detriment to you, right? Because we were there. We know what happened. It's okay. Shit happens. And we can move on from it and find reconciliation, resolution.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm not
guys,
denying
bring
the dark
don't
side of
cry.
me. Okay, I'm a Scorpio. I have the power to heal as much as the power to
Right.
harm. Okay, so I don't deny that at all. I'm just saying at that moment, I never wished death upon you, and I never wished you to get back on heroin. Okay,
Right. I
so
added that. I added that for
that's
effect.
okay. So I just wanted to make sure that that record, because people are going with that and saying that I'm wishing you to die and things like that, which these are
Right.
lies, and people are
Right.
perpetuating lies because of what you
Well,
added.
Jesse, it would have
And
been
that's not
simple, right?
right.
Instead of wait like 6 months to address it here now, you could have just hopped up on my panel and said, "Hey, Chubby,
Well,
you're expounding upon an event that we all witnessed. Could you please just correct the record and keep it within the bounds of what happened?" Then I would have just copped to it like I just did there. So again, we all witnessed it. We all experienced it. I expounded upon something and took creative license because that's the intention and sentiment I saw and heard from you at the time. But I'll freely admit what I did.
Okay, so record's corrected, then we move on.
and I think in the future, yes, hopefully.
And I appreciate you, because coming up in whatever this is, presuming there is a coming up, maybe coming up is coming down. It's all relative to perspective. But you were one of the first folks who reached out to me who had a conversation with me, right? And we shared that bond of whatever it is that we're pursuing here in truth, rights, freedom, principles, my rap, right? So we have that. We know that. The rest of the shit is just fleshing it out. And sometimes it gets hot and heavy when men get in the room. It's just kind of what happens. We trigger each other in our egos, like Jack says. We flesh it out. We find common ground and we move forward. There's no love lost, man.
Yeah, man, all good.
Amen. Hey, see, now we're at the 3-hour mark, and it's not as high of a note as it was previously. But
I had something on my mind. You guys were talking about healing, and you're talking about the Coles thing, and that brought up something. And one thing I see Paul doing a lot is something that I've been to. There's like this deep arrows shadow work workshops and stuff, and there's this healing modality that they use where you uncover the worst voices in your head that speak to you, like, whatever, nobody cares about you, or you look like this, or blah blah blah, whatever those voices you constantly hear in your head, they're probably from past voices. And then you have somebody stand, there's a line made, and you're far back, and you have to like push against these two people with pads or whatever. There's different ways of doing it. You could like beat the crap out of pillows, you can scream, you can like tug of war. There's all these different ways to let out the energy around it. But in this particular one, you push against these two pieces of people, and there's a person far away again on the other side of the line, and they yell these things at you with like you even tell them how to yell, like, "You're a disgusting piece of shit, and you're never gonna make it, and fucking you're not worth it." And they just keep yelling this thing at you, and you feel the anger on that, and you keep going and resisting and pushing against these people till you get to that part of the line. And then you also create what's going to happen once you get to the other side of the line, whether you want to hug or whether you want to confront them or whatever it is. And then once all that energy is released, if you feel done, some people go again, but you speak out what the truth is. And I've never seen truth stick with somebody when they get to that point than when they face those voices and found that truth within them, and say like, no, I am worthy of respect, I am worthy of help, I am worthy of whatever it is, right? And or I am not this, or da da da, right? And I kind of see what Paul is doing in that way, except this is created in a safe environment where you know what's going on, so it's not making anything worse, and it is helping, because it can go either way when it's just random, right?
Yeah, but it's what we let it be, like everything. we can let it take us down. We could build us up. It's all about what we're choosing. So the
But it's
origin,
good for us to be conscious and aware of what's going on so that we can participate in the healing and not just feel like it's more damage. Because if we're not aware of ourselves and what's going on, then we're not really getting anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So, but, and then there's also other ways of healing too, like creating a safe environment where you have that time of peace if you've been in chaos for a long time, where you can actually hear yourself and whatnot instead of always being on the defense, right?
No, yeah, I agree with that. But I would contend that if you're looking for that sort of experience, the metaverse is probably not the best place to go unless you're going to do one of those ASMRs where the woman licks the microphone. Like, you come onto these panels in these situations, it's like, you know what you're looking at, and to claim that you don't know what you're going to get, it's like, mirror central.
I don't think it depends whatever environment you create. A panel is just another place that you create what you want. So, I mean, in these worlds, because of what has been created here, it is what it is. And I try to jump in when it's not, because it's not always. But
well, let me ask you this. This is a good way to find out. This is a good way to find out how much like I project on the everyday experience versus what is and how much raw oneself. How many places in your life do you have a quote unquote safe space other than like what you create close to home within yourself and maybe create with one or two or a few other people? I mean,
sorry,
maybe I'm projecting.
That? I need you to repeat that.
Yeah, I'm saying like I found it true for me in my life that even with friends, family, coworkers, peers, there's few, if any, completely safe spaces because there's few spaces where there's complete authenticity and trust. So oftentimes that's found like within and maybe one or two or a few other companions in this life, right? And like I say, blood's not always thicker than water. So I find that some of the spaces closest to us where we tend to love the most are some of the most unsafe spaces. That's at least the life I've come out of. So, Jack has spoken upon my trauma.
You can definitely find those spaces, and you can create them for yourselves as well by having those boundaries and whatnot. But in reality, even in the safest space you find, there is always going to be something that comes up. Because there is no growth without it.
There can be. But the humbling part is just finding the peace in the now. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's always peace when we surrender, when we stop creating reasons for there not to be. And that includes in our relationships too. We don't have all of our likes and dislikes are on varying degrees, right? And it's all based on our judgment at the time. Our likes and dislikes change. So for the benefit of trust in the moment, can you allow your likes and dislikes to be less important than the moment? Because that's how you can get along with people, work with people that you don't really like. You just recognize, well, it's temporary. I just, deal with what is for now. But it does require cooperation. And that's where the world is at. Everyone's fighting for control without realizing all the control. Well, all the control is God, but the real control, the only control we actually have, it's in our mind.
Hey, Paul,
Right. You should explain that to Cynthia because she's still down in the chat admitting she's timing everyone out down there.
Why is he's a child at this point?
Oh, man, she doesn't want that accountability, huh? She doesn't do well with that, Jack. Could you ask her to stop fighting for control?
Well, speaking of accountability, Paul, what was the whole reason behind this whole grift, non-grift, reefer madness, Talcott 2.0? Why did we raise $1,400?
Oh man, we're in the past today. Like he couldn't let that go. He's doing it again.
No, you're the truth,
you were
right?
totally ignoring what Jack was. I was paying attention. See, this is what's odd. I'm the only one of the few up here. I won't say that for Jesse and Angeline. One of the few up here who listens to Jack and then responds in kind, and everyone else is just waiting to speak halfway just to shit on me or bring up the past.
You can't explain it.
Nobody
Why
was
did we have
And you could just come on
$1,400
my
raised?
panel and address me directly where you found me
Why did we
last, but
raise
have been running from ever
$1,400?
since with
Why did we
fear in
raise
your heart.
Why did you
$1,400?
address me,
Do
Paul?
you have
when
fear in
nobody
your
was
heart, sir?
listening to you?
Why did we raise
Praise
Because
God.
you're like
$1,400? Just ask
You
me
know
your
what?
answer truthfully.
I
different from all
absolutely
of
Not good, Paul?
love, love all of you sincerely, even you, Jesse. God bless. I'm gonna wrap it up. I know this is rude, but I feel this was a high point. This is a high point. There is so much energy, so much growth being had, being shared. I was hearing some truth from both from you know what? The truth is there in many, many different forms. Can you accept it? Can you accept the truth that the world shows you? Can you accept the truth that what is true for one may not be true for another, and yet those truths are still compatible? Because I saw that. And I'm not going to defend anyone. And brothers and sisters, I am going to wrap up. This is my final words, and I'm denying others the opportunity to maybe defend themselves. But tomorrow's another day. And for those who feel I was wrong in doing so, please feel free to return and we can address the issues tomorrow. Everything is temporary. It will all pass. But I do see some people using this space, this platform that I've created, which was, I'll give credit in a flattering way. This format of Jack Talcott, the chats with Jack here in front of a fireplace and the open panel conversations, that was inspired by the God of all media, Paul Unslaved. And I won't lie, I am trying to seize and learn upon what I have seen and experienced. So to say, stand on the giants who came before me so I could see and accomplish that which was out of their reach. I'm hoping to do that in different ways, and I think we all are, because that's what we are. Who we are and what we know is built upon the foundation of all those who were before. What a glorious opportunity that really is. What an amazing opportunity to learn and grow. Mark Zuckerberg. if I pronounced it correctly, which I think I did. I intend no offense to any. Please understand. With understanding, with acceptance. You're correct. I did not make a big deal or even read the entirety of your super chats, while your donations are grateful. Received with gratitude from you and Cracker both. Thank you sincerely. I appreciate the contributions, but it's not so much a refusal. I guess it is. Please read your super chat. I did. I'm not offended. I'm just not coming back. I understand. Many people have had that pattern in my life as well. It's been quite fascinating. Lots and lots of people. Dude, I'm 50 years old. Do you think I didn't meet a lot of people in my 50 years active duty in the military as a public servant dealing with the public? Holy shit, I met a lot of people. Lots of people come in and out of my life. I don't sweat it. Today, the goal, back to where I was going with conversation we had earlier and in line with the topic, growing in life, love, and peace. I had a great day today. By the grace of God and by the graciousness of others. This day was shared here online. And what I've been working on for myself is carrying the peace that is available with me as myself. And I think it was said in some of the later conversations about creating this space, sharing this space, right? That was inspired by others and that I am offering to share, creating this space, sharing this space with others. The purpose is to share some peace so that you, whoever you are, in your own little imperfect, magnificent version, right? The magnificence of you has yet to be discovered. But today, I'm just a stranger online trying to offer you reminders. You get to choose what is true. You get to choose what is true for you, true for others, in your experience with your perspective. And so, with that, I think I've said what I wanted. I want to genuinely thank, there was a point. In this space I've created, I have noticed, while I'm able to get along with pretty much everybody, others may not be. And it does seem that this has been a place in Paul's defense where he shows up and he gets attacked. Not to defend the others, Paul, but that's the pattern you bring, man. And that's your experience being shown back to you. The combative patterns we receive are often because of the patterns and energies we're sharing, whether we realize it or not. I think you do, and I think that's a burden you've been willing to carry. I honor you. I honor Cynthia. I honor all who joined the panel today and all who joined my life. I honor you. Sometimes it's not easy to be you, but it gets better and we all move on. I'm going to try something new and let's see where this goes. Till next time, please choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless us all. And thank you.